everyone, and welcome to the Atelier Nekozuki live stream. Once again, sorry, I'm just going to get my viewer count doohickey moved over where you can actually read it right there. And I'm going to move my phone image up a little bit, or my MacBook image up a little bit, so that you can't see as much of the mess behind me, because that's the glorious thing. I get to choose what you see. Besides, obviously, the disaster that is my a scrap pile anyway, so Anyway, so today we are gathered here today to get going. It's like I am so far behind, I feel like I'm ahead. I'm not actually ahead, I know that. But we are working on, oh, interesting. I want the live chat visible, thank you. I'm still messing around with the settings and views on the Streamlabs app, so I'm just kind of playing around with that right now. There we go. I want to be able to actually see the chat there, and then actually that is better than having it on the right, because then I'm able to have the actual YouTube video onto the right hand side of my screen, and then everything else on the left hand side. So if I have to click on the stream on YouTube, then I can we're good. Awesome. Anyway, I actually have a new mic set up. I splurged. I actually found a really good deal on a new mic yesterday. It's the Sennheiser MKE 200. I compared the sound between that and the lav mic that I've been using, and I think it is comparable, or honestly, it's about the same. But I do think that, well, okay, the lav mic was louder, whereas this mic is, I think, probably going to be a better sound quality overall. I hope. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm also looking kind of pale on the actual, well, I'm looking pale on the YouTube, but I'm not looking pale on the stream. I don't know. Okay, whatever. You'll just have to deal with a slightly paler than normal shady. I do have a couple things to finish up in the light thread. I forgot I need to actually look up the fiber content of the strawberry bees bag. And then I realized that I put the wrong tag in this sheep bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to seam rip out the tag right now. And we're going to put the proper tag in before I swap my thread on the machine. And we'll do the bees here as well. I gotta look it up on No Moya Taylor and see if I can find it there. I didn't buy it in No Moya Taylor, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to track it down. This is a fabric that's been around for quite a while. My last trip to Japan was 2018. I'm pretty sure that's when I picked it up. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that that's when I got it. So it should be floating around the Ethernet or the internet somewhere where I can find the fiber content. Hello, seam ripper. There you go. You can live there. So yeah. So overall, I think I like this mic better. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell sometimes. So I've been thinking about getting a new mic for a while. This one worked out super cheap. I actually picked it up at a local supplier. But for a whole kit. So it's the mic, it's all the cords, it's a little carry bag, and then the actual tripod as well. It was they price matched Amazon at this local shop for 98 bucks. So I can't complain about that. And the lav mic was useful, but the thing about it is that I don't use it with my phone enough, because it needs a dongle and all of that. Now this does need a dongle as well, but it's going to be able to clip right onto it, and I'll just be able to use it basically as a selfie stick. So I don't know. I think it's worth it. Because I listened to the lav mic last night, and it was really a high pitch, or not high pitch, but it picked up it was loud. Whereas this one is a little bit less loud. It is better when I'm actually facing it, obviously. I moved it around on the desk last night. And I did notice that's better when I'm facing it, obviously. It's because it's set up for that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It does make me look less sketchy walking around with it, I guess. I don't know. Okay, let's see. That's it right there. Okay. It's on Amazon of all places. The Bees and Strawberries. Amazon, Japan. 85.15. Okay, that's what I thought. But always better to confirm that beforehand. It doesn't change anything for you as a customer. It just changes for like exports if it needs to have any kind of like fiber markings and stuff like that. So always better to be accurate. Although I don't know how they actually check that. I wonder if they, because it's not like you could take a clipping of it and do a burn test. I don't know. I don't know how they work that out. Oh well. All right. So we're gonna swap the tag in the sheep bag because it needs to go. It was definitely wrong. It was like 100% cotton, and I'm like, no, these are cotton linen blends. I know that. We looked it up on stream the other day. I specifically set these tags out because I knew they were 80/20. And then I was tired last night and I put the wrong tag in. Anyway, it doesn't change any of your care for these. They're still machine washable, air dry. Realistically, with the knot bags, you could actually throw them in the dryer. I would still air dry it though because it is going to make it fade. Like the fade time on it will be longer before it fades if you don't air dry it. And with the other bags, so like large box bag, small box bag, kato, well, you can't machine wash the kato because of the leather on it. Do not machine wash your kato. They are spot clean only. Oh my goodness. What was I saying? Oh, with all the other ones that you can machine wash, so like the tote bags, the big bag, and the large box bags, and small box bags, blah, 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 blah. Because of the interfacing in them, I suggest that you air dry it because it'll help them interfacing maintain its shape. Whereas if you dry it, I find that the interfacing tends to lose a lot of its stiffness and it kind of goes all wimpy and doesn't actually hold up the corners like it's supposed to. So that's just my personal experience. I have, like, obviously do what works best for you. If throwing it in the dryer is what it needs to be done so that it's cleaned up for you, go for it. Whatever works for you. That's these care tags are best case recommendations. So, all right, those are the last two white ones that needed to be done. I said that I was going to pin stuff off camera for the thread, for the black thread stitching, but obviously I'm on camera and I haven't done any of that, so we're going to do it on camera. Just sorting out a few more of the things that need to actually, like, basically I've got a bin over here, that's what I'm putting the knot bags into. These are all going to be processed by my friend and I this weekend. The other thing I was thinking is like, yeah, I'll do this off camera, and then I was like, no, I'll do it. Well, I was like, it'll be fine to do on camera because there's not as many. And now I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, never mind. There are just as many. Ah. Oh well. I just realized there's a couple more to serge there that are special order. So, I guess. Oh, those are grime guards. Why didn't they get? Oh, okay, Katie. I don't know why I didn't search those the other day, but apparently I did not. Okay, and then we'll work on the. There are not as many dark thread knot bags to do today though, so that's for sure. Alright, so first things first, I am going to go through and I'll just clip all the threads because that's just what I want to do right now. Although I could do it as I'm actually like putting it together and that'll be faster. Never mind. We're going to clip them as we go. So where are my clips? I'm gonna clip everything, and then I forget to actually get my clip in. Alright, so can you kind of see what I'm doing? Yeah, okay. So basically what I'm doing is I'm folding in the hem on these. It did work out better to actually do it along this edge the other day. We need to clip all these serger threads that I have in between, because even on the serger I chain piece. And a lot of the time it just gets clipped off as I'm doing the next like corner of the serge. But there's always at least one left, usually a couple. Obviously on this one there's been a couple. That could also be because I was actually like just checking to make sure that my serger was actually working. Because if you followed the stuff the other day, it was giving me issues. Oh yeah, and we need these for clipping into the. Okay, that's the last one for the last sheet bag. I'm gonna move all of this stuff over here, except for the ruler. I need the ruler for a little bit. Labels will go up there, and then realistically, I end up doing mostly a guesstimate on these, but I just like to check that guesstimate at the beginning to make sure that I'm like not wildly off of what I need to be. Alright, so we'll start with this tag. So this is the last week of summer camp for my eldest, which is absolutely wild. I cannot believe we're in the 3rd week of August already. It's like mind-boggling how fast the summer has gone this year. Like, I feel like they've gone fast the last few years, but this year in particular. It's in part because I've been so busy, and it's in part because it's like that busyness is in part because we've been doing the summer camp and stuff like that. So the kids have been like out of the house, and we've been doing stuff, and then there's been shows and show prep, and yeah, it's been nuts in a good way. But I will also be kind of glad when it's a little bit more chill. I don't know how I'm gonna pull off September with kids like not in summer camp. There'll be a lot less streaming, that's for sure. And a lot more Paw Patrol, probably. We'll get more TV daycare for September, and that's fine. We can manage that. They will survive TV daycare for a month. Why I say a month is because Knit City is September 22nd to 24th, with the market being the 23rd and 24th, and I will be there. That's really all there is to say about that one. Everything that I'm working on right now is either to go out to Baaad Anna's or it is to go to Knit City. I do have a couple pick your own orders that I need to finish up, but other than that, yeah, that's what we're just working on stock right now. Market Spot in Market Mall is nearly reopened. They just moved. I dropped my stuff off there on Tuesday, and they were extremely close to being finished setting up. So not quite there, but like one woman said, like they've only really had 2 or 3 people helping with the whole move, which is insane. That would be so much to move with so little help. Alright, so that was a Grime guard. This is a cake cozy. It gets the same hem. Doesn't matter. Same hem. So, what else are we working on right now? Just Knit City. I'm really going to try to get work done over the winter so that I can take a little bit more time in the summer next year. But we'll see, because summer's always been when I've done the majority of my prep, given that Knit City is one of my biggest shows. Right, we need a tag. Well, it is my biggest show right now. I'm hoping that I'm able to add a couple more at its level, or even exceed it over the next year. I've got a few on my radar, one of them being actually Odafest in Calgary, which is the anime festival in this city, the fine city of Calgary. It's a May long weekend, so their application's open in November, so here's fingers crossed that I get accepted there. Obviously it'll be a little bit different product again. I don't know actually what I would do for that one, because it's not like I do like anime stuff. I do Japan stuff, Japanese fabric stuff, Japan stuff. I don't even do Japan stuff. I just make stuff out of Japanese fabrics. Just make stuff out of Japanese fabrics. There we go. That's what I do. But I don't know if it's like, I think for that I'm gonna end up doing a lot of like wallets and accessories and stuff like that. I think that's probably going to be the best mix for that demographic if I get accepted. Please, 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 please. No, this is cotton linen blend. I think. Yeah, this is an 8515. Okay, so there's an 8515 tag. This setup with the drawer right behind me is very good. I do very much appreciate having it. I'm still like trying to figure out ways to like streamline my workspace because, sorry, this still sounds like a broken record if you watch me regularly, but we moved last year, and the amount of studio space that I have now is about half the size as it was before. There are a couple wasted spaces in the sewing studio, and there's a couple pieces of equipment that I need. So it's like I want to get a leather strap cutter. So I would set that up on something. And I'm just realizing that realistically I should actually move. No, because then I'd have to move everything that's on the walls. Like, I've got bins behind me, directly behind me, this direction, to the side of the TV there, that I use for like my rivets and leather stuff. But the problem is that I still end up working on the desk right behind me the most instead of the desk that it's above. And sorry, Dahlia's distracting right now. She's picking out an envelope that's on the floor. Anyway. And it's just, I don't know. It's like the wall space is a really good way to store it. If I had the space, I'd get like one of those rolly organizer bin shelves, but that also defeats the purpose of putting it on the wall, because part of why I put it on the wall is so that the kids can't get into it. Now, has that actually helped? No, because the chair that's over there, they climb on it, even when it's like on its back, because I don't trust them to actually climb into it without climbing onto the desk. So I lay it down on this back, but then they climb on the chair and climb onto the frickin' desk. I'm just always like, kids. That's usually when we give up for the day and I like take them upstairs. It's like as soon as they start on the desk, it's time to leave the room, or else I'm gonna get too frustrated with them and they'll get too frustrated with me. And that's just not a battle that I am interested in having. Anyway, I don't know, I'm still trying to figure stuff out to like see how and what's gonna work the best for this stuff. And now that we've moved the cutting table into the room, so the room with the door open is actually the cat's litter box room. It's the bathroom down here, and then there's the bedroom that's been developed over here, kind of. So it's just to the left of the bathroom, and that's where the cutting area is now. So now that the cutting table is in there, it's actually opened up a ton of space in this room. And I don't know what to do yet. I don't even know where I'm trying to go with this, because it's like I don't even know what to do in this room yet fully. And given that most of the time down here I spend sewing, I don't take a lot of time to think about what I should be doing to make it more efficient either. But probably should. I think that's going to be a winter project. Get my taxes done. It's always terrifying. But I'll get my taxes done, and then I will then I'll organize my sewing studio and cutting studio. I think that's a good decision. Actually, the main priority right now is that I did record the fabric preview for all the fabrics that I purchased in Japan, but I watched it back and I actually did the full voiceover the other day, and you can't see any of the fabrics with how I had the camera set up. So I'm thinking what we might do is something similar to this, but on the cutting table or something like that, and I'll re-record it, because I don't want to post what I recorded this time. So that's going to be a little bit later. I want to do it before I wash and dry the fabrics, obviously, because the fabrics just look nice and crisp right now still. So I think that that's something that will come after Knit City. So that's the first priority, and then washing and ironing all the fabric will be the next priority. And then getting ready for any fall events that I get accepted into. There's a couple that I'm going to, well, there's a few. I think one I'm pretty much a shoe-in for, and another I've got to apply for in September. So basically that's going to be a wait and see. And then December, I don't have any plans except I want to fully decorate the house and enjoy Christmas. And actually December is when I should go through and do up most of my taxes. At least get like all the expenses gathered and stuff like that, which I should start doing now anyway, just to make sure I've got receipts in order. Because because I always get to the end of the year and it's like, where did everything go? I've got like a nice little system in the one room, but that doesn't mean that everything ends up there, which it should, but a good chunk of it's still in my wallet right now. Although that's just seems to be the way for most creatives. It's hilarious. Catherine of Gage Dye Works posted a really good one the other day of like small businesses. This is like, or like when corporate tax season ended in Canada, July 1st. And creatives, here's how you should organize it. And it was just like a complete satire of how you should, and like basically a call out of exactly how most of us actually organize our taxes. So it was fun and terrifying at the same time. At least it made me feel not alone. What I should do is actually, our truck has like a file folder slot, so I'm gonna actually throw a file folder in there for Knit City, so I can put all my receipts in there. So that'll be easy to just pull out of the truck and bring in, so that on the go stuff at least makes it into the house. And actually like stuff that I buy at Michael's and like all those receipts, because there's things that I've bought now and I'm pretty sure the receipts are in my wallet, but not all of them have made it in there for sure. The problem with like paying with your phone is that you're not opening your wallet enough to like put the receipts in there, or not thinking about it. And if I'm shopping with kids, it's like my hands are full anyway, so it just gets stuffed in pockets. Like whatever is easy access. Alright. Still kind of staticky. Please. He's going nuts back there. I'm not 100% sure what about. Come here. Come say hi. Oh. Quality Control Inspector Flynn is on duty today. This is our fluff boy. He's a Norwegian forest cat. And he is purring up a storm. There we go. There we go. Oh, sweet. You've got two very good shots of him. The first Norwegian forest cat I met was actually in Japan, at a cat cafe. Their name was Olive. They were a silver mackerel tabby, and ever since I met them in Japan, I wanted a Norwegian forest cat. I always thought I wanted a Maine Coon because like a big cat, come on, how can you not love a big cat? But the Norwegian forest cats don't, like, as they age, don't seem to get quite as like mangy through their back end, so that's why we went with a Norwegian forest cat. I am sorry for my actual phone footage today. I don't know why it keeps kind of pausing. Hopefully that resolves itself, because I don't know what to do to fix it. It hasn't had that problem before, and my internet is good. Yeah, it keeps freezing. Interesting. Maybe it's the wind outside. Let's blame the wind. That's what it feels like. That kind of day. Yeah, we actually, so Flynn is from a breeder that's in Washington State. There's only one breeder of Norwegian forest cats in Canada, and they're in Quebec, which is a lot further of a trip. Explaining that to the Canadian Border Services agent was difficult, but we drove down to get him. I didn't want to ship a cat on a plane. That's not cool for them. So we drove down and got Flynn in Washington State in January, which is probably the worst part of it, was like a winter drive. And yeah, if we ever get, I think the next set of cats that we get will end up hopefully being like a brother set from like either the same litter, or they usually have 2 litters at once, I think. They only breed their queens once a year, so they don't have a lot of kittens because they're so big. I think they end up with like 4 kittens per litter sort of thing. Or at least that's when we went and picked him up. There was only about 8 kittens total, and they just had 2 litters. So they make sure that their queens aren't overbred. And yeah, they're really, really, really nice to deal with. He's a good cat. Grimy was best cat, but Flynn is a good cat with a capital G. These cranes are gonna be spectacular. I wonder if I need to change my camera. Let's actually, I'm gonna just pause myself here and put it to BRB, and I'm gonna see if that'll help. One moment. It's like, is the fact that the camera is not very good, is that like the fault of all my notifications maybe coming in? I don't know. Let's see if that helps. There are a ton of notifications coming in right now, of course. Okay, let's see. Whoa, that is a very tight view on my desk. I think it works though. Can't really see what I was working on here though. Okay, we're gonna swap that camera again. I won't do it while you're watching because that's probably gonna make people ill. Get out of here. Okay. Maybe the back dual wide? Okay, yeah, there we go. Let's try that. Because what's the other one that I was on? Goodness gracious. Okay, let's try that. No, that's not gonna work. Sorry, like I said, I'm still learning the ins and outs of this and like how to do the dual cam and everything like that. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so you can still see the sewing machine. That's one of the big things. Maybe we'll pull this up a little bit. There we go, and then we'll turn it this way so that when we actually do go to sew, you can see the actual sewing machine. Sweet, and then I'm going to just drop the viewer count here down towards the laptop again. Yeah, better. Oh, thank you for your patience with this because it's been a learning curve, just like anything new like this is. There we go. And then I'll probably add some other factor in a few weeks and it'll just be like learning curve all over again, but that's okay. That's what we're here for, to learn and explore, and because I don't know what else we're here for. And I just am very glad that people want to join me in that learning and exploring, because you don't have to. I watched, actually I had a video pop up in my feed today about these tiny apartments in Japan. Now of course, Flynn got stuck on the bin. Sorry. Of course, like, apartments in Japan have never been very large, but they are also typically very expensive when you're in the metropolitan areas, at least. So the one apartment that I went to in Japan was like half the size of my dorm in university that was split between two people. So basically it was like the same size as the dorm if it was split in half for the one person. It was nuts. It was tiny. And that was in the Osaka area for my speaking partner. But these apartments that I just saw this video about, it's from, what's the name of the channel? I think it was Tokyo Lens. I'll throw it in the description box below the video once I'm actually done streaming. Anyway, but they were in Tokyo, and then they were built under the train line. Now the stuff that's built under train lines always fascinates me, especially in Tokyo. There's some of it in Osaka as well, but doesn't seem to be quite as prevalent. But in Tokyo, like, all the stations have stuff under the train lines. It's like the JR lines are all elevated, which is really cool. But apparently this whole building is that's not building, it's like buildings. So it's a bunch of like apartment buildings and almost like duplexes and fourplexes, which are like 2 and 4 room apartments, built under the train tracks. And apparently it's all like run by JR, which is super cool because that means that it would be subsidized by the government. And it's like, I think they said that the average cost for it, now it's like, these things are tiny, but it's their equivalent of affordable housing, and it's about $700 to $900 a month. So 700 to 900,000 yen per month. No, 70 to 90. Yeah, 70 to 90. But, and that sounds expensive, it is. But it includes more or less also the food for a lot of these folks, and like the intention of it is for university students. So like at that cost, I'm like, that's not horrendous. It's not good, but for Tokyo, it's good. It's also just a really cool use of the space under a train track. And apparently, the guy that was doing the reviews of them said that it, even though they're under the train tracks, the insulation was done in such a way that he barely even noticed them going overhead. So yeah, so I'll throw the link to it in the description afterwards, because I really enjoyed it. It was a nice quick little video, 15 minutes. There was actually a couple in there that I'm like, sweet. Like they even had like in-suite laundry, which even in Calgary is so hard to track down. So like Japan doesn't do dryers, but they do washing machines. And so like the first two apartments he showed had washing machines, and then you would line dry everything. But that's what you do in Japan anyway. But like even finding that in Calgary, I'm just like, you can't find that for $700 to $900 a month. So I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool. Now I don't know if this was like a new station or if it was like they tore out the previous, like, I don't know how this came about, but if they're doing more of it, I think it's a very clever solution. Delia, hey. Okay, one second, she's scratching out my carpet. What? My goodness. What? Okay, pick up all the stuff on the floor that might attract her. She's a plastic chewer. So she was also going after bubble wrap that was on the floor, which it's like, dude, stop eating plastic. Alright. Need more clips. Of course, if you have any questions, I can see the live chat, so feel free to throw them in. I was in a bit of a listening slump for a little bit there, and what I picked up was by Maggie Stiefvater, I think, Stiefvater. I'll put it in the description, but it's the trilogy. It's the Dreamer trilogy, and it's a follow-up to her Raven Boys Quartet, which I absolutely loved. I thought the characters were really well done. They are atypical male heroes, which is super important, I think, in YA. And it was a quest story. Instead, like, it was also a hero story, but the main part of it was a quest story, which I think is even more important in some ways than I am the one true hero for YA. So I really enjoyed that. The other one that I'm probably gonna, like, I tend to do a lot of re-listening this time of year simply because it's like I just need something to like zone in on what I'm doing and keeping my brain occupied and away from like making up bad stories. I'm in the week right before my period. Right now I am in my like most resentful, crabbiest mood. Just something that's changed drastically since I had kids. Like I get PMS, but I would not get this like week of like in and out just resentment. Mood swings are intense right now. I am, however, I also believe heading into like premenopause or perimenopause, which I'm just like, really? I gotta deal with this again. But it started hitting my mom around this age, so I have a feeling that's probably what's happening. It's like, yay, just get out of the postpartum hormones, and this is what I get to look forward to. I think I might go to my doctor and find out if we can do like a since I don't think I'm fully in it yet, but I'm like, we should do baseline hormone test and just see where I'm at right now, maybe. And then, because it seems dumb not to do that before I go into potential perimenopause and then full menopause as well. Ugh, guys, sorry. I will finish that up, and then we're gonna grab some hand sanitizer. Okay, there is far too much fluff in the air right now. We did have quite a bit of smoke come through on the weekend as well. I think Kelowna had the fires up down. I think the fires out in the shoe shop in Kelowna have died down, at least from what I've seen. I have not done a lot of reading on it because I'm like, I don't have the mental space for it right now. But I know that Kelowna Airport has said that they're going to restart flights at least in the evening, so that's good on some fronts. They said that they can only do the evenings because they can't, like, they have to leave the airspace open for the fire control in the daytime. So that's why I think they're going to be flying from like 6 p.m. to like, or 9:30 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's what it was. So makes sense that they wouldn't be able to fly like the water bombers and stuff like that in the night. So that seems like a good balance if they need. I don't know why you would need to have a lot of flights in and out of Kelowna right now. I think they got most of the people evacuated. I don't know why you would need a lot of flights into Kelowna right now. There we go. I know that BC actually did put travel restrictions on the whole interior of BC when these were at their worst. And I'm kind of looking at it like, okay, let's have some cooler weather and some rain. Because driving out to Vancouver in, well, 4 weeks, it's like it's right on that road. Now Kelowna is not, but the Shuswap fires, which are on basically right on the Trans-Canada. They crept up on the Trans-Canada. Actually right over a salmon spawning like hot spot. So I hope that they're still able to come up and spawn this year. I don't think we're in one of our grand years. So like salmon spawning goes in waves of 7 years. So every 7 years there's a really big salmon spawn. I don't think this year's supposed to be it. I think it was 2020. 2019 or 2020. Anyway. So hopefully it's not something that disrupts them for like that many generations. And not that the spawns like around that time aren't large or can't be large, but it's just like it seems like every 7 years. I think it's 7 years. It's in a cycle. I can't remember now that I said that out loud. I'm like, is it 7 years? My goodness. Sorry, my cats are being pests today. And there's no way to actually keep them out of the basement right now. I was discussing with my husband, so the streams on the weekend were chaos because my kids were upstairs and they were literally running around over top of my head. And then my eldest was fighting my husband to use the potty, about using the potty, and all of that. And it's just like, I told him we might need to put the door back on upstairs so that I can at least shut out some of the noise. I can't shut out the stomping of the feet around, but now he knows, so he'll take them upstairs when they're free. But it was just like, guys, you need to chill a little bit, or you need to get out of here. Go upstairs, go outside, I don't care. But now, instead of the kids, it's the cats. Okay, that's just Flynn laying on a bag. That's fine. He was getting into something, so. And I am also highly distractible right now. So it's just like anything kind of noisy like that. It's just like, oh my goodness, right on my nerves. Anyway. Alright, so basically what I'm going to go through and do is I'm going to clip all of these hem edges. Then I'll swap the thread out. And we will sew the black thread, Grime guards and cake cozies, which are these ones. And then we'll go in and finish off the knot bags. There's only, I don't know, when I held the pile it felt like there was maybe 15 knot bags to sew. And then I can't remember what else I said I was going to do today. It was something. think I said something about large box bags. I probably zipper matching, because I want to get the large box bags for Paula and myself done for Knit City. That's the next big thing we're gonna do. And then after that's gonna be the Kato, because they are going to take some time and care. And then what's after that? That's actually probably gonna be as much as I'm gonna be able to fit in for Knit City. I got some little products that I'm gonna work on when the kids are home. Hopefully tonight. I'm just waiting on some stuff from Amazon for it, actually. I hate having to order from Amazon when I can avoid it, but it's like some of the supplies that I use, the easiest way is to do it on Amazon. Just to find a supplier that's reliable. So there's that, and then what else is gonna happen? My friend's gonna come over on Sunday, and she's gonna pull the elastic through on these for me. Probably work on that at the same time with her, or I might work on the little things. And we're going to sit outside on the walkout, and the kids are going to play in the backyard hopefully and leave us alone, that being the key, and we'll just get all this work done as much as we can. And then I'll have her come back out maybe to help with like Kato drawstrings and stuff like that. Getting there. This pile has drastically dropped for the amount that's actually there. This is Grime guard. This will fit an 8-inch hoop with a little bit of wiggle room, so you've got room to like stuff your fabric behind it. I will have demonstrations of this at Knit City. These will be different from my previous Grime guards. They're quite a bit wider, so you'll be able to put a little bit more fabric behind them. But I do love this print. It's such a good print. And actually on my screen, at least for the preview, that's showing up pretty good. From my screen on YouTube, it is showing up a little bit pale. For some reason, YouTube has paled myself and my fabrics out today. Promise I'm not that pasty in real life. I've gotten more sun than I probably should this summer. But running outside will do that. I've got like the strangest tan lines right now, because it's like I do put sunscreen on, but the run's like, actually I did reapply the other day when I was out in like the really huge sun, like no cloud, no break sort of sun. But I've got like this like line around my calf, right above my ankle, where it's like just where my sock has rubbed my sunscreen off. It's ridiculous. It's like an inch tall, and it's just funny. I laugh every time I look at it. The first couple times I saw it, I was like, oh, my ankle's sturdy. Nope, that's tan line on my skin, that's for sure. And then I've gone through like a few different iterations of tank tops with like different bra straps, and it's just like, so my upper here is like got 6 different lines. I'm just like, oh, at least be even. So it'll all fade by the time we go and run in Disney, so it's not going to matter anyway. Alright. I'm going to finish clipping these, and then I'm going to open up my Coke Zero and have a drink, and then we'll get to the sewing. Thread changing and the sewing. Like how I say I'm going to do that after all of these, I'm pretty sure I'm going to open it in about 2 minutes before any of these are fully done. I am attempting to put my scraps in the needle or the thread catcher. If they don't end up in there, that's their own fault. Because I like just kind of, here, have some thread sprinkles. Actually, probably what we'll do, maybe what we'll do on Saturday. I gotta figure out what I want to do with the kids. I do need to do a tidy up in here though, because the scrap, like, so I do just throw a lot of fabric on the floor as I'm going, because it's like, it's faster to tidy it up all at once is what I find. Clean it up all at once. But I'm hitting the point where it's like, oh my goodness, there's way too much here. It's like, it's impeding my chair, which is what's bothering me. So that's probably something I'll do on the weekend when I can't really stream with the kiddos anyway. And then I'll come back with a little bit more space on Monday. So the current plan is that I will be on today and tomorrow, so Thursday and Friday, from 12:31-ish to when I run out of steam. Probably gonna be about 2.5 hours. Like right now I've been on for 45 minutes already, because I started at about 1. Well, I started at 12:45. That one's done. Flynn, why do you keep wanting to lay on the stuff we're making? Buddy, we know that you approve. I know you're attention deprived. I'm sorry. I should probably put his blanket, or the little, like, there's a, okay. Long story short, he sleeps on the mat that Remy used to like to scratch. But long story is that Remy used to like to scratch the like doormats. Don't ask me why, it was just the texture that he liked. And he was a down scratcher, so it worked out perfect. We got him a doormat, we put it like on our landing in our old house, and that's what he scratched. He scratched this doormat. But now this critter, Flynn, likes to actually sleep on it. But right now it's on the desk behind me because I've been leaving it there, because then he's able to like view the outside world and have some environmental enrichment. But now he's trying to sleep on the knot bags, so it might be time to actually like just move his pad over onto this bin so that he's not sleeping on top of the product constantly. If you run into any cat hair on my bags, this is why. If it is orange cat hair, it is Flynn. If it is black cat hair, it's Dahlia. Although she doesn't tend to sleep on the product as much as he does. And because his hair is so long, it's kind of hard to miss. So, there's that too. And considering that it's the dark stuff right now, of course it's going to show up very well. Cat. Alright. We love you, but you are a bit of a pest. He's like, I take pride in being a pest. Thanks, Mom. Grime guards. This is another one of that patchwork, tuxedo cats in patchwork. It's also not like he doesn't have other spots to sleep, so it's just he's just being needy. Alright, 1, 2. 2 Grime guards, ha ha ha. I'm gonna go through and count, because I see that this pile is dwindling, but I just need to pick me up of like, how many do we have left? So we've got 2 so far. 1 long, 2 long, another few cake cozies in here, just, you know, some variety. So there was a bag that I saw at Toji, which is the temple market I typically visit in Kyoto. And I really like the shape of it, and I actually found a tutorial for how to make it. So this is going to be on the list for, I don't know, a few months from now. Seems like it's a fairly straightforward and easy pattern, but just like it'll be post Knit City for sure at this point. And I've seen a couple versions of it. The first version was about the size that I saw at Toji and the size I'll probably be making. But then this version I saw today, it was actually marketed, from at least what was included in the like YouTube title card, a watermelon. So I'm like, was this originally like designed as a fruit bag or some sort of grocery tote, and then like make it art? It's really cool either way, even if it wasn't that way, but that is my guess, and it's kind of neat to think of that. But it's a really cute bag. It's got a different shape. Like I said, it looks like it's pretty straightforward. Can make it in like basically any size, it seems like, as long as you figure out what your box edge, how large you want your box edge. Yeah, I'm excited to explore and see what I can do with it actually. Oh, thank goodness. I thought that was one very long grime guard, but it's 2. I will be making very large grime guards, just not right now. Because the very large grime guards will mean that I will have to cut 2 pieces of fabric, and then we'll have to like serge them together before I'm actually doing the rest of these steps. Got 3. These ones of this length, so basically like the length of my sewing table, are the ones that you'll can use. That size is for the 8x11 Q-snap frames. This size, which is smaller, is for the 8-inch hoops. Oh no. And actually, I was going to pick up an 8-inch hoop for demonstration the other day, and I forgot that needs to be redone. I redid everything else except for that bit. No, this one, I allowed that one in instead of QCing it out. Okay, into the timeout pile. Probably what I'll do is Saturday will be that catch to get all of these pieces that just aren't quite up to what I want. I.e., surgery didn't work, and so they need to be redone because otherwise the threads are just gathering. It's what's actually put me so far behind. I was not supposed to be still working on grime guards and knot bags on Thursday of this week. Granted, part of that was yesterday, and I just could not get my butt going. Like, I don't know, again, just super cranky. Definitely period related. I just, every month now, this last week before my period, I'm just in my head. But, yeah, I just could not get myself to get downstairs yesterday. So, I think I ended up getting like an hour of work done in the afternoon, and then I got, I think, an hour done by the time I got the kids to bed and like lunches packed. It's one big benefit to my youngest being in day home is they get fed, and they eat and eat and eat. It's always like the day home is just sending us photos of them eating constantly, and it's like, holy, are we feeding you enough at home? Are you just that much more active there? I can't tell. Probably just that much more active and like engaged there. So that's good. Oh dear. Okay. Clip all the serge ends off. And then there are a lot of blues in this pile. Interesting. Didn't realize I had quite so many blue, like dark fabrics in blue. I am super excited to get the new fabrics into rotation though too. It will not be happening till after Knit City, as I've mentioned, but then watch out. There's so many good ones this time. I just realized I should have, so my eldest basically went into this like daycare preschool earlier this year because they had space, so we decided to just go for it and get them in right away. But that meant that they started in the middle of the school year because this is a preschool, so their first day of actual class is like 2 weeks from now. And I just realized I've got fabric from Japan that I want to make them like stuff out of, and I should maybe do that before, like, for first day of school. Is it gonna happen? Probably not. I can daydream about it happening though. It would be super cute. I don't have time. Oh well. It'll still be cute whenever I get it finished. It really doesn't matter. Alright. So there's a whole stack of new cake cozies coming. Which is good because I don't have very good options for cake cozies right now. I have some, but not a lot. That one also passed QC. Needs to be redone. Alright. Same as that one. Out of here. Well, that saves us some time today. I'll take it where I can get it. I know I said that I was gonna like clip these as I went, but it's just like it's satisfying just to get this done right now. Alright, so we got 3 small grime guards, 3 8-inch hoop grime guards. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 large grime guards, and then we've got a ton of knit cozies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eat. No, you don't need to pull the thread with you. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2. Oh, okay, 10. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 11 kid cozies left. Alright, I'm gonna take a drink and I'll just mute the mic. One moment. Alright, let's get into this and get it finished. I am out of clips. Love the sound of clips like pinging together. I don't know what it is. It's just a good brain scratch sound. Alright. So basically what I'm doing here is I gotta make sure that the hem is wide enough to take the 1/4 inch elastic and that the bodkin that we use to pull the elastic isn't going to get stuck. I do not use safety pins anymore because it just gets too difficult. Anyway, actually I can show you the bodkin that I use. So this is the bodkin that I use. I'm like, wait, where should I show this? Probably on the camera if the camera stops freezing on the phone. So here's the bodkin. It's got like this big loop on the top, and basically it's a long, flexible thing. It's got like a ball at the end, and you just push it through. Super easy. Like you put the elastic in the end here, and then you pull it. You can lock it in with the little red slip thing there, and then it just gets pulled through the actual product. Super easy. I think I even have 2 of those, so I can help my friend actually do elastics at the same time. Or something. I don't know what we'll do yet. I need to find out what she wants because I'm not paying her, so it's like, would you like beer? Sushi? Like, my stream of consciousness chatter? Yeah, and then we'll pull the elastic through. It gets clipped so that it doesn't slip out of the thing, and then I sew the ends together. And we call it good. Alright, now Flynn has left. Where did Flynn go? He just left. I don't know where he's going. Hopefully not as distracting as whatever he was doing before. Labeling. It looks like I might need some more labels. I will need more labels for the knot bags at the minimum. My phone just buzzed, so I think I probably got another notification. Actually, next time I pause, I might take a look and just make sure that there's nothing desperate. I just realized, yeah, like if they phone through on the phone, well, I think that stops whatever's coming through. Should just make sure that's nothing desperate for like day home pickup or something, because the day home operator uses Facebook Messenger. So give me one moment. I'll stand up and just take a look at the back of the phone, because they all show up at the top here at least, which is good. Nope, nothing. Good. Okay. These cranes are spectacular. So this fabric is textured as well, which is really cool, but it's not textured in the same way as the Dobby. It's textured in these really thick lines instead, and actually from what I'm seeing, that's showing up really well there. So yes, I really like it. It's also got that like gold highlighting around it, like around some of the details that Japan just does so well. It's just well done. Saw this fabric when I was there. Well, these are all November fabrics, but this was in Noma Taylor, and I sent some photos to Caroline, and she's like, that one and that one and that one and that one for sure. And I'm like, yep, I agree. First, she pointed out that I had to get the cranes, and I'm like, yes, those were already like, they were already planned for. And I got it in this really gorgeous navy color, which makes the purple flowers really, 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 really pop. And then I got it in the purple color over there that's like very vibrant. Alright, so I'll show you the difference here. So it's basically the purple is like this flower color. Pretty much, almost exactly. Yeah. Absolutely spectacular. And I think you probably can see a little bit of shimmer on those in the highlights as well. Maybe. If not, I will try to communicate that when I take photos of it, if there's any left after Knit City. Heads up that if you do want to get any of this that you're seeing right now, and you're not going to, if you're going to make Knit City, I'm offering free pickup at Knit City. I haven't done anything official yet for it. Basically, just message me on Instagram or through the website, and I'll set something up for you so that you can get it picked up at Knit City. And if you see something and you're not going to be at Knit City, give me a heads up and we can get it set for shipping. I don't want you to ever feel like you're totally missing out because you're not going to an event. Now, if you're holding off because you want to see everything, fair. I'm thinking that this year I will actually do I did this in the past. I would record a podcast and do like a preview of all the things before Knit City, and I think that this year might be the year to bring it back because I feel like there's going to be quite a few products. So I think that would probably be the best way if you want to kind of hold your horses and see everything all at once. I'll be able to show everything that I have done for Knit City just before Knit City, because I do not photograph it before Knit City because that's dumb. It's just like, yeah, I could photograph it and do a massive shop update right before Knit City, but then a bunch of the stuff would be gone at Knit City. So it's just like, that is one of my major time savers, is I don't post shop updates until after events, so that I'm not photographing stuff that sells like less than a week later at an event. If it's selling online, awesome. That's the whole point. But I hope you understand. Plus, it's always a benefit to come see me in person. We get to chat. We get to ooh and ah over everything. Fangirl together. You know, all that good stuff. I don't know if Knit City has announced the hours for the marketplace yet. Once I know them, I will post them to my feed and announce it here with the lives, blah, blah, blah. I do know that there is no timed tickets this year. They even have a weekend pass, and so you can come 1 day, 2 days, all day, half a day, whatever ends up working out. So you're not going to get kicked out of the venue at that like lunch hour like they've done in the past couple of years. Made total sense to do the last couple of years, but it also makes sense that can be dropped now. So what a wild ride the last few years have been, that's for sure. Alright, we're down to 6 cake cozies. Ha ha ha. This is why I was going to clip them off the camera, because I was just like, this is like this project's tedious phase. You would think it's like the elastic, or maybe the serging, or like figuring out which scraps will actually work for cake cozies. You know, any of the. No, it's the clipping. It's the clipping of the hems. Some stages happen, the tedium sometimes happens earlier in the project than later in the project. Again, the tedium, it's funny because it's like the kato, it's always like, oh, it's a drawstring bag. It's going to be fast and straightforward, and it's just easy, fast and easy. And then it's not, because there's all the pockets in the kato bags. And it's like, okay, well, large box bags are going to be fast and footloose. It's like, no, those have what is it about the large box bags that hold them up? I don't even know. It might be the zippers. It might be the fact that, like, I sew the zipper in and then I flip it and then I top stitch it and then I flip it back again. I think that's the big one. The tedious part. Also the handles, which is hilarious because it's literally a straight seam and then 2 top stitch seams. So it's like, why is that tedious? And I don't know. Some of these are just so adorable. I am excited for you to see them complete. Oh, the white top stitch knot bags, they are all done now. After I put those last, I had labels, tags that I needed to put in 2 of them. One because I put in the wrong material, like fabric content, and the other because I didn't know what it was until I looked it up this morning. Because that's what happens. And that's what I decided last night to do. But they still need to be ironed. They've got one last step, and that is the ironing. And even these dark top stitch ones will need to be ironed as well. So they're really crinkly right now, and it's just part of the process is that that's what happens, and that's fine. But they need to be pressed, and I need to like press the lining into the interior into the exterior, because they're kind of warbly around the interior curve right now. So just some finishing touches on them. I probably will iron them, but I might actually see, I've got like a handheld garment steamer. I'm wondering if that would work as well or better. It's actually something that I got to like steam bags last year, but I just didn't actually end up using it. I'm gonna keep it around for a couple more years if I can find a use for it at these shows and stuff like that, and if not, I'm gonna pass it on. I'm probably will pass it on at the end of this show season if I can't make it work for me. So, well, it might be useful for like steaming some shirts and stuff like that. I don't know. Alright, 3 more of the pig cozies. And then I think I've actually got black elastic to use for these darker ones, which is super fun. Not like you're gonna see the white elastic, but you know, I bought black elastic from masks and like mask kits, and then never end up using it all, so I may as well use the dark elastic in the darker ones. Why not? Lots of elastic. So much elastic. Need to figure out a way to store that too, where it's like, it's just kind of willy-nilly. So the pink calyx back here, it fits perfectly there. It's like that space was made for it. It's so cool. But I wanted to turn that more into like the shipping supply shelf and stuff like that, and the elastic and a few other like things are on it, and so I need to figure out a different spot to store the elastic. I want to do something kind of with all the snaps and the rivets and like strap stuff behind me, but I don't know if it'll end up working out or not. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. It's somewhere, as long as I know where it is. That's the big one. Although I was seeing a way to like store spools of stuff on other things, and basically the woman took like a piece of steel with holes in it. Like it's like, I think it's the heavy duty version of the strapping, that like metal strapping. I'll have to ask her. And then steel rods, you put the steel rods through the holes in it, in this adjustable metal thing. And then you can like line up a bunch of stuff on the actual steel dowel. Now I've kind of already done that with my interfacing rolls, but I need to actually get them steel dowels, and then I've got like curtain rod hangers underneath my cutting, well, I've got one curtain rod hanger underneath my cutting table. And what I'm going to do is, because it's a triangle with the hook, I'm just going to put one in the like V down against the table, and I'll put one in the actual like cup for that's supposed to hold the rod. But I do need to get steel dowel for that. It's part of why I wanted to actually, I've changed the direction that I'm cutting in, so the fabric is behind me, which is a much more pleasing background. Although it's kind of annoying because I did all the like command hooks on the other side of the room, So I'm probably gonna have to move them. I should probably move them to like the to the side of the calyx. That's the fabric calyx, just so that they're within reach when I'm in there cutting and stuff like that. That's probably the best place to put them. Oh, I need more tags. I'm like, I know there's something else I need, and that is this. Okay, so we got 1, and then we've got 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we've got probably about a dozen knot bags. So let's just, I'll make a guess here. That's too many, but it's better than not enough. One more. Like that. What was I saying about the cutting room? Oh, right, the interfacing. So the curtain rod holders are on the side towards the closet, which is where the yarn is and where I have been recording most of my stuff against. But I flipped the cutting mat and everything the other direction because I want to be able to like pull it up and over. So like basically pull it from the back of the table towards me instead of pulling from in front of me forward, because I think, well, at least my experience so far with it is that it's just smoother. It just pulls off better. Smoother cutting experience. It like pushes me to make sure that that back section of the cutting table is tidy, or at least tidy enough. It also opens up the bins that I've got under the table now for all the cuts, like the knot bag cuts or the big bag cuts or blah 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 blah. And that'll just open it up so that I can just throw stuff underneath very easily. Not that I couldn't with the interfacing in place, but it'll be even easier now. Alright, so I pinky and shear these guys so that they don't unravel as easily, because it's a very fine woven satin ribbon. I don't actually know what the fiber content on this is. Probably nylon or polyester. I'm going to lean towards polyester. But yeah, this just helps me keep it on the seam line. I do sometimes still cut them with my shears if like these aren't handy, but this is actually what they hang out around the desk and what I purchased them for first to begin with. Oh, I know what the holdup is on the large box bag. It just like literally popped into my head because that's one of the few other things I use these scissors for is cutting the like accents for the box bags, which are the ribbons and stuff like that. And that's oh yeah. Sorry, customer emails. That isn't super pressing, so I can email her back afterwards. It was just a follow-up on an order to make sure that the exchange took place. I was saying something about the pinking shears and the ribbon, and now I can't remember. It wasn't very important. It's just stories. They're all just stories, but this one was not an important story. Part of the problem is that because the phone is on and open, the notifications don't actually come through my watch, so I can just hear it up there like bzz, bzz. You've got notifications you can't read. Oh, there's a broken clip. Alright, out of here. See you later. Okay, let's do these three shorter ones, and then we'll do the big ones, and then we'll start sewing. Thread, right? I have to change the thread. Then we'll start sewing. Close enough. Whatever. We're just about there. clip these tags in. Until I have run out of energy. I might need to go up and grab a snack. Yeah, around 2:30. But the nice thing with the Streamlabs is I can just put a BRB sign up, which is super fun. I've been trying to figure out how to do that. Like, I've scribbled notes on paper and then like propped my "be back in 5 minutes." Yeah, like it didn't work. But now I've got themes to actually be like live soon and like all of that. There's a bunch of tutorials about how to make them even fancier, like do a countdown clock on your like overlay and all of that, and I'm just like, whew, this program is more powerful than I anticipated. And because it's more powerful, I do know that there's a lot more I could learn and do with it, so that's kind of exciting, but it's a winter project. Again, right now it's like, I just need something that is basically plug and play, can sit down and go. It's the same as the mic. My brain is not set up for a huge learning curve on tech right now. And you know what? It's delivering, and that's all that matters. Buy clip. That's part of why I need to actually tidy up, is that the scrap pile has swallowed probably a couple dozen clips at this point, because I dropped them and it's just like, okay, see you in 6 months. Not quite 6 months. This scrap pile is not 6 months old. This scrap pile is like, actually I probably don't want to admit to how old it is, but it's probably about 2 months old right now. But since it's show season and it's been a busy show season, it's just like, well, get cracking and worry about it later. But yeah, I think I'm hitting the end of my tolerance for it, so we'll clean it up this weekend. And then I can just, part of that is that I just know I'm going to drown in Knit City scraps right now. So it's like, if I tidy up what I've done before Knit City now, then all I have to deal with after Knit City is Knit City stuff. Right before I jump in, or like maybe like it's like the halfway through show season tidy up, and then I'll do the end of show season tidy up. So end of show season being, I'm hopeful I get one more show. There's a show I want up in Edmonton, the like 3rd weekend of November. Last weekend of November, because it's like the next weekend would be the first weekend of December. Yeah, so last weekend of November. And so I'm hoping I get into that. And words are good. Hoping to get into the show in Edmonton. Yeah, and then it'll just be a like full month off basically. Come home, decorate the house, do Christmas stuff, all that jazz. Get my Christmas cards out this year. I screwed up major last year. We got our photographer was absolutely amazing. So she does like, or at least our photographer, the one who's been doing our Christmas cards for the last few years. She does like 20-minute mini sessions for Christmas. Includes like, I think it's like 10 photos that she'll edit, and like she takes ton of photos. It's who we actually went with for our family photos a few weeks ago as well. But last year she was super awesome and accommodating and fit us in early because, I was in Japan for the weekend of one session. No, what was it? I was in Edmonton for Gathering Threads, Edmonton Fiberfolic at that time for the weekend, and then my husband was at work, and then anyway, she fit us in like I think the Wednesday right before like she officially started mini sessions, which was so nice of her. But I missed the link for our proof gallery because for some reason in my head it was coming to us in Facebook Messenger because that's where we've been communicating. No, it's getting emailed to me instead, and so I missed it, and I didn't actually get our cards printed until after Christmas. So we did happy like New Year's cards, And then we didn't get them mailed out. They've like slowly filtered out to people over the last year, and it's just like, oh, it's embarrassing. Oh well, could be worse. Last November was a mess and a half anyway, so. But this year I hope to be better on the ball. We'll see. At least we got them printed. We've been really bad about just even getting photos printed, so at least we've got some sort of copy of something somewhere. Alright. Small 8-inch hoop ones are almost done. And we'll do the large, the 8x11 hoop one, or Q-snap ones. Now, like I said, there will be like XXL ones coming, because I put the 8-inch hoop as medium, and then the like 11x8. So this will fit an 11x8 Q-snap frame. These longer ones. I would put that as like the large, and then there'll be an XL, which will be like the 11, probably the 11x11x11. And then there'll be the XXL, which will be the 11x17 version. Maybe the 8x7. Yeah, 11x17, I think. I don't know. I don't know how useful that would actually be. Anyway, there's always room to go up. So, like, I think the 8-inch will still be counted as, like, the medium size. Though I doubt that I'll go any smaller than that as well, because I can't imagine putting a grime guard on much smaller of a hoop, because honestly the grime guard would end up taking up like half the hoop then. I guess to each their own though. I don't do enough cross stitching or embroidery at this point. I used to do actually quite a bit. Not as much as I've knit, but did used to cross stitch. And you are encouraged to laugh at this. The reason that I got into knitting is because I was like, oh, there's not as much counting as counted cross stitch. You're very much encouraged to laugh at that. And poor naive baby Katie. There is now, in fact, more counting than there ever was in counted cross stitch in my knitting. That's not quite true, but yeah. Granted, it would be harder to carry cross stitch or embroidery, counted cross stitch in for sure. It'd be harder to carry like cross stitch into class, and so I knit a ton in my like university classes because it kept me engaged with the class. Whereas cross stitch, it was just like it would have been too complicated between the charts and the counting and all of that. Now, if I was into embroidery, that might have worked. Freehand embroidery or like outline embroidery or something like that, but I think the knitting was the best option for class, at least for me. If you've done any crafts in class, let me know in the comment section. I would love to know. Most of my professors were super cool about it. I never really asked, but there was one professor who was always so pissed off that I would knit in his class, and I'm like, dude, like, I'm paying attention. It's very obvious that I'm paying attention. And if I'm doodling, which is what I would do, it's like I'm not paying attention. So you want me knitting. But he was the only one. I don't know why. Just maybe he was just a bit too high on himself. I don't know. He was also the most like metaphysical class I took, and I just like I was there. I did not do well in that class though, like objectively. It was about place, capital P place, in Edmund Spenser's The Fairy Queen. I just wanted to study the Fairy Queen, and then we ended up with this like super metaphysical like class on the Fairy Queen. It was not what I was expecting. So maybe that's why he didn't like me knitting in this class, is he knew that I wasn't overly impressed with the class. I don't know. It wasn't bad. It's just not what I wanted to do with it. For For those of you who have not encountered it before, The Fairy Queen is a partially completed Middle English poem by Edmund Spenser. And oh wait, no. It wasn't it wasn't Fairy Queen. It was the was it? Oh my goodness, I can't even remember. Was it Fairy Queen or was it Canterbury Tales? No. It might have been Place in the Canterbury. Oh. No, now I can't remember. I did both classes. I think now that I'm saying it, I think it might have been Canterbury Tales, which I actually enjoy. They're also so the Fairy Queen is. Did the Fairy Queen get finished? Okay, I gotta look this up while I'm chatting with you. I think the Fairy Queen got finished. Oh my goodness, Edmund Spenser, The Fairy Queen. Alright, so the Fairy, this is just off Wikipedia. Fairy Queen is an English epic poem by Edmund Spenser. Knew that. Books 1 to 3 were first published in 1590, then republished in 1596, together with books 4 to 6. The Fairy Queen is notable for its form, at over 36,000 lines and over 4,000 stanzas. It is one of the longest poems in the English language. It is also the work in which Spenser invented the verse form known as the Spenserian stanza. Forgot about that. I don't remember what the stanza is, but I can go back and read about that later. On a literal level, the poem follows several knights as a means to examine different virtues, and though the text is primarily an allegorical work, so allegory being the allusion to Christian faith. I don't know if that happens in Jewish and Islamic faith. I imagine it would though. Or not faith, but in Jewish and Islamic writings, I guess. There we go. And though the text is primarily an allegorical work, it can be read on several levels of allegory, including as praise or later criticism of Queen Elizabeth I. In Spenser's Letter of the Authors, he states that the entire epic poem is cloudily, so this is quote, cloudily enwrapped in allegorical devices, end quote, and that the aim of publishing The Fairy Queen was to, quote, fashion a gentleman or noble person in virtuous and gentle discipline. Didn't know that. Spenser presented the first 3 books of The Fairy Queen to Elizabeth I in 1589, probably sponsored by Sir Walter Raleigh. The poem was a clear effort to gain court favor, and as a reward, Elizabeth granted Spenser a pension for life amounting to £50 a year. Though there is no further evidence that Elizabeth I ever read any of the poem. This royal patronage elevated the poem to a level of success that made it Spenser's defining work, which I did know. Okay, so then the actual... One second, I'm going to pull up the Canterbury Tales Wikipedia as well, because this is what I did actually. So they're both... This one was written earlier. Yeah, circa the 1400s. So that tells me that the Fairy Queen actually did get finished from that paragraph that we read about it. So the Canterbury Tales were not finished, and that's what we were studying, was place, capital P place, in the Canterbury Tales. And I'm not going to try and summarize it. I'm just going to read you the Wikipedia summary of it as well. The Canterbury Tales is Middle English, Tales of Canterbury. Oh, that's interesting. And I did know it was Middle English, so that makes more sense now. So, the Canterbury Tales is a collection of 24 stories that runs to over 17,000 lines, written in Middle English by Geoffrey Chaucer between 1387 and 1400. Geoffrey Chaucer is actually a character that shows up in The Night Tale with Heath Ledger, which is hilarious when you know this about him. because basically it's like self-insertion. Except not, because it's modern day people putting him in there. Anyway, the tales, mostly written in verse, although some are in prose, which is true, are presented as part of a storytelling contest by a group of pilgrims as they travel together from London to Canterbury to visit the shrine of St. Thomas Becket at Canterbury Cathedral. So if you've ever heard of the wife of Baaad, this is where she came from. The prize for this contest is a free meal at the Tabard Inn at Southwark on the return. It has been suggested that the greatest contribution of the Canterbury Tales to English literature was the popularization of the English vernacular, which is true. So this is one of the first works that was written in English for the English people. So they're saying that the greatest contribution was the popularization of the English vernacular in mainstream literature, as opposed to, sorry, I gotta make sure that I'm still folding this hem proper, as opposed to French, Italian, or Latin. English had, however, been used as a literary language centuries before Chaucer's time, and several of Chaucer's contemporaries, John Gower, William Langland, the Pearl Poet, and Julian of Norwich, also wrote major literary works in English. It is unclear to what extent Chaucer was seminal in this evolution of literary preference. The Canterbury Tales is generally thought to have been incomplete at the end of Chaucer's life. Okay, it never got finished. In the general prologue, some 30 pilgrims are introduced. According to the prologue, Chaucer's intention was to write 4 stories from the perspective of each pilgrim. This was a huge undertaking and super ambitious. So 2 each on the way to and from their ultimate destination, St. Thomas Becket's shrine, making for a total of about 120 stories. Although perhaps incomplete, the Canterbury Tales is revered as one of the most important works of English literature. Yeah, so there's like all these different characters. So even the Knight's Tale, in some ways, is like a parody and a play on the Knight's Tale in the Canterbury Tales, which is why having Geoffrey Chaucer in there is so funny. But this was the class where it's like we were studying plays, capital P plays in it, and the professor was like super annoyed that I was actually knitting in class. I'm still not quite over that, obviously, talking about it. When did I graduate? 2012? So like over 10 years later, and still a bug in my craw some days. But no, I was also at the forefront before. Like, there wasn't a lot of talk about how now that we know that the bilateral movement of knitting and crochet and like all those 2-hand actions improves executive function so much. Whether you have executive functioning difficulties or not, it engages different stuff, so you pick up the different things. And realistically, was I any more disruptive than someone watching like something on their laptop because they weren't engaged in class? No. Probably. Well, I guess I might have been, because people are always like, you can like knit and read or knit and like be in class, and it's like, yes, this is actually far easier than me just seeing it in class. So I definitely got recognized for my knitting occasionally on campus, which is hilarious. Love it though. Alright, this is the last Grime Guard. We did it together. So we're going to finish it off, clip, 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 and then we'll swap the threads. I'm just going to double check the time, almost 2:30. I'll have another drink of Diet Coke. Coke Zero, I guess. And then I will get these sewn up. At least this is like the most tedious part of them, because now it's just like zip, 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 zip along the seams that I've just pinned. So that's fun. And again, they can be chain pieced, so they can just all go in a nice straight line. And then we'll do the knot bags, and they'll be the same thing, and it'll just be a good day. And a good amount of work done. Probably why I wanted to get these done now, because it's like, if I didn't, I would be over ambitious with what I could get done before Knit City, and then it would never get done. So I was moderately ambitious with what I wanted to get done now, and they're getting done, which is awesome. Oh yeah, we watched, that just reminded me of the Lego movie, so that's where this came in. We watched, what was it, Disney Lego? The Castle Quest the other day. It was cute. I saw it advertised, I like the trailer just randomly popped up for me on something. Instagram? Yes, Instagram, because of course I follow all the Disney things on Instagram. And, it just looked super cute, and then when we went to watch a movie the other day, it was like right there, so I'm like, okay, let's watch that. And it was adorable. 5 princesses having to defeat Gaston. It's just like, it was so good. Corny, but entertaining, so whatever. The kids liked it. Our eldest recognized King Triton plays a big part in it, and they recognized King Triton as Ariel's daddy, which is super cute because they've been carrying around a little Ariel Duplo for like, well, for the past half week to a week now. So that was super cute. And it wasn't very long, so it kept everyone engaged for long enough. Like, and when I say not very long, it wasn't even like feature film length, because it was basically direct to video link. That bobbin is probably good for 1 grime guard. So we're going to pop the white bobbin out. And I do have a backup here already, so I'm just going to pop it on the laptop here. And then I'll set up the black thread to actually wind right away. No, don't drop in there. Drop the bobbin case in the little like fluff catch tray. Of course. Where'd you go? Did it drop all the way onto the ground? It didn't sound like it. Alright, time to open it up. Hello? Oh, there it is. It's like tucked right back in the back corner. Oh, that was a lovely shot of my head from the phone. Ooh, okay. Alright, it didn't even get that dusty. Sweet. Pop the bobbin case in. Pull the thread. Actually, we'll do a cake cozy with this because it's like there's not much thread. Well, maybe probably enough to do one side of this. So never mind. I'm going to cut the white thread bobbin off right now. And then what did I do with the other thread for that? Usually I just set it in my windowsill. Need to like oil my chair. What the heck? Did I put it in the jar? I did. Okay. Actually, oh, it is time to do thread order. Yeah, because I've only got Serger's thread hiding around here. Alright. That's impressive. That's quite a bit of sewing. There we go. Now I'm going to thread it through the tensioning and all of that. I can't actually put it on a bobbin yet because I don't have an empty bobbin. Do I have an empty bobbin? It doesn't matter. I don't want three bobbins of black thread either. So there we go. There's the other full white bobbin, so we can use that for whenever I need white thread. I don't know why I'm even showing it to you. It's not like it's any. That's nothing exciting. Okay, so then that's a clear thread one. So I'm just gonna shuffle that there. That is a clip in there for some reason, which now is on the desk instead of where it should be. Okay. Turn my stitch stitch length down. That's the top stitch length, and off we go. So what I'm doing is I'm going to catch the serged edge, and that's going to help lock the serging in place as well. Especially given that we did have some difficulties making sure that the serging was correct, I want to just add a little bit of stability to that actual hemline. Not that I think it's actually going to unravel, but it's just like, sometimes better safe than sorry. Alright, you will have to tell me if the machine is too loud with the mic. I can always actually turn the mic down a little bit on this software now. But as long as you can hear me over it, I am pleased with that. That's fine. Is what I figure. And I am sorry for the juddering on the phone camera. I don't have a much better setup right now because it's kind of like the clamp for the phone is actually clamped to the sewing table, and it wiggles and shakes and grumbles as I do this usually. Oh, we didn't even make it halfway through this grime guard. Oh no, we made it through we made it over halfway. Alright, so we're going to trim the thread back to there, change the bobbin and get the other one winding, and then I will then we'll finish off. So basically what I'll do is I'll stitch forward a little bit, and then backstitch over where I stopped, or where the bobbin thread failed, to lock in the first stitch line, and then we'll just continue on. Obviously, the optimal is that you don't do that, but sometimes needs must. And I don't want to waste that amount of thread either, so. Alright, there I go, click. Wind it off. So actually I'll get it started, and then I'll start the next one, and that's when I'll start winding the bobbin. Just because then, it takes a hand or two to do the bobbin. Well, it takes a hand to do the bobbin winding, so it's just easier when there's a little bit more of a straightaway to actually start the bobbin winding. Alright, fold in. I just realized I do need some caffeine, so I'm going to pause or mute myself for a moment and take a drink. I'll be right back. A little like earthquake as this is getting sullen. Oh dear. Alright. Sorry. I will have to figure out something better than that, because it's like, yeah. Gentle swaying from the sewing machine. Or not so gentle swaying, as depending on how fast I'm sewing as well. Oh dear. Okay. Actually, I wonder if the tripod would be better than the actual clamp. Maybe I'll try that tonight. I was saying last night on the stream that maybe what I should do is I should almost set the tripod up right behind my sewing machine with the phone, so that like the phone is facing me, and then the laptop could actually be facing the sewing. Kind of like what I was doing when I was only working with one camera, but then the face cam is the phone. Because then the microphone would also be facing me correctly as well. I don't know. We'll try a few different things out, because why not? If we're not going to have fun with it, what's the point of doing it, really, in this case? Alright, next one. Along. The bobbin's winding, so once we run out of thread, because we will, swap it out again. And like I said, I'm just catching this serger thread. Give it the surge, a little bit more locking in, just in case. It's always better than not. That. And then that's the channel where the elastic will be run through for the grime guard itself. And straight sewing. I'm going at like a faster clip than I typically can, which is always, whoa, nope, I say as I like clip pushes me off of my stitching. Yay, get back there. Okay, almost time to put the clips away. Once I'm done this one, we'll grab the bin and push them off. There. Anyway, go a little bit faster because it's just like a straight stitch. Nothing fancy. This is not as fast as this machine can go actually. But definitely faster than a domestic. I think the top stitches per minute for this machine is something like 4,200, 4,500, somewhere in there. It's nuts. Kind of terrifying, to be honest. Just how fast it can actually go. Alright. Clips off. Next grime guard. So I went and did physio for my foot yesterday because I'm suffering from some plantar fasciitis. Probably due to weak calves a little bit extra weight, a little bit of like postpartum foot stretch. I have moderately high arches, so apparently it's just more common in that. I think reading online they say that women are just more prone to plantar fasciitis, and I'm a runner, blah blah blah, all these reasons. Anyway, it was sore yesterday after my run, and it was actually quite sore after the physio as well, but today it is feeling amazing. I think probably the best it's felt since May, and I know why it felt better in May is because I didn't run and I didn't have to get up and get the kids in the middle of the night, so I was able to actually properly rest it while I was sleeping. But that obviously is not something that I can do, so while I'm home I have to get up and get the kids, but it is feeling really good today, and I'm very excited because that means that whatever we're doing is working right now. A little bit stiff when I got up in the morning, but it's kind of like, well, if that's what it's got to be, that's what it's going to be. Not got to be, what it's going to be. At least for now. He was saying yesterday that if it continues improving like this, we'll probably be able to drop down, like kind of reduce the number of sessions that I'll need in the next few weeks, which is exciting as well, because that means I won't use up all my benefits by like November. Alright, just making sure things are sitting. Pretty correct, at least. Decently correct. These jam jar labels, or like vintage jar labels, are so cute. They're making such good products. After this, I'm gonna have to make sure that I've actually got kato cut out in them, because I don't know if I cut kato in those bags, or in those fabrics. I know I cut big bags, but I know I cut and sewed big bags in those patterns. That pattern is two different colorways, not two different patterns. Although the way the fabrics look sometimes, they may as well be different patterns. Clip off. And off we go. Into the vast majority of the cake cozies now, or at least a good chunk of them. Nice straight stitches, just easy sewing. I approve of easy sewing on occasion. Well, I approve of easy sewing at all times, but the only way to get easy sewing is to practice. And that is not necessarily always the easiest. Actually, if you are a sewist, I would love a chime in if you know of a pattern for a toddler's button-down shirt. Our youngest absolutely adores Mickey, and I found some amazing cotton Mickey fabric at Michael's the other day. Don't normally shop for fabric in North America, but we were at Michael's for beads. And apparently Halloween decorations. My youngest was with me, and they were putting pumpkins in our basket, and like the look in their eyes, they were in absolute heaven. Now, I did not buy any of them because I'm like, if we go back next week, it's probably going to be on sale anyway, so I told them we'd come back with Daddy and buy some pumpkins. Maybe Santa's shipping them some pumpkins. Anyway, but yeah, there's a fabric there, and they loved it, so I'm kind of like, I want to try to sew a button-down collared shirt for our trip to Disney in January, hopefully for Christmas. But the only one that I could find was like too old, so I need like a toddler pattern. There might be one on Etsy, I guess, but I just haven't taken the time to look yet. So if someone knows one off the top of their head, shout it out in the chat or put it in the comments. I would appreciate it. This also sounds like I might need to change my needle, actually. Oh, it's such good stitching. Please continue stitching nicely. I just realized I probably jinxed myself. Oh well. It would be one of those weeks if I did. If that happens, we'll shut the sewing machine off and we'll go do something else. It's not like I don't have a lot of work to do that isn't sewing, so. Hey Flip-Flon, I need the rest of some of the stuff under you, buddy. Yeah, there we go. Good job. Oh, that nice and kitty cat warmed. So we'll see how much I can actually get done on stream without powering down too badly. If I do, then I'll probably cut short. I don't feel like I need a nap today. Typically I nap because it's like, then I will have the energy to like come back downstairs after kiddos are in bed, so, or catch up on like sleep. Like, I didn't get enough sleep last night, that's for sure. But it's show season, so I never get enough sleep. But I powered out at like midnight last night, which was intense. So maybe I should go for a nap so that I can be a little bit more present on tonight's stream. Alright, we're back into some of the grime guards, actually. Those are cake cozies right there. So let's try and finish the cake cozies just so they're all kind of in a row. I don't know, just easier mental processing, I guess. Off of it, cat. There we go. Good job. Click, 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 click. All the sewing clips are all clicky, clicky. Oh, we're almost done the grime guards. There's more cake cozies than anything else left. Alright, whatever. Let's actually clear this of the clips again. There's this. Wait, so how long have I been on stream? Almost 2 hours. Okay, these take a really long time to clip when you're doing it that many at once. So like, I prototype everything I make, obviously, and typically I like timer out, or I average out the time basically, because when stuff is cut out of scraps, it's kind of hard to tell how much time you actually spend like sorting the scraps and cutting the scraps and like debating the scraps and all of that. So typically I average the time out, but it's like my like official timing is always from like cut fabric to end. And sometimes it's hard to know exactly how much time a process will take when you go into the production side of it, instead of just doing like one at a time. So the fact that it's taken me nearly it took me an hour and 50 or an hour and 45 minutes to actually pin or clip these and hem them is impressive. There's a lot here, but it's good to remember that it just takes time. Sometimes I forget that. It's not like it's slow, it just takes time. And I want to make a product that's worthwhile too, so it's not like I'm trying to be efficient but not rush it, I guess. That's what I'm trying to get to there. I don't know why, but this fabric, this one that I'm sewing right now with the tuxedo caps and this patchwork color, always reminds me of Christmas. So far. Not always. It reminds me of Christmas every time I work with it. Like, not super traditional Christmas colors, but I think it's just the palette and the like combinations that make me think of Christmas. I mean like secular Christmas, like Christmas trees and all that sort of stuff. Alright, we're almost through the cake cozies. Capybara in the onsen is so adorable. So cute. They're taking like yuzu baths. Actually, I did get more of this fabric when I was there in May, which is awesome. It's been popular for like a limited release that I've already done of it. And I got it on black as well, which is going to be super fun, especially for cocktail bags and stuff. Again, I need to definitely make sure that I have it cut and ready to go for a cocktail bag for the shop, actually. So when we were going in to pick up the microphone, I actually picked it up at a local store in Calgary. Drove in after I picked the kids up from daycare yesterday. And it was a music store, so it's Long and McQuaid. Super awesome. They actually price matched a price on Amazon. I didn't pay very much for this new microphone, which is good. I do think it's better than the lav mic. I think it like smooths everything out a little bit. I don't know if it was actually worth the purchase. What it is worth is the compatibility with my iPhone, to be honest. So when I'm like going to be out and about streaming, I can just hook it up to the iPhone. Whereas the other mic that I had, the lav mic, was kind of like and then I'm also attached, whereas now the mic attaches to the phone, which is a big benefit. And then the other factor of it is that words attaches to my phone, so I'm not wired to it, so that's good, especially in public. And there was something else, and I can't remember what it was. But anyway, we went in and they had ukuleles, and my eldest was like, I need a purple ukulele. And then started strumming their belly like they were playing a ukulele. So I told them we're going to put it on the Christmas list for Santa, and we'll see what happens. I think they must have one at school or something like that for her, like for the teachers and stuff like that. I don't know. Because I don't know how they would have like figured out that you're supposed to like strum it. Otherwise, it was super cute. Either way, it doesn't matter. It was cute. So we may be a ukulele family beginning at Christmas. We actually inherited a piano with the house. It needs to be tuned, but I'm super excited because piano lessons are in the future at some point. So that'll be awesome. And yeah, I don't know. Ukulele would be alright too. Their grandpa is a guitar player, so that would be kind of cool. more grime guards, and then we'll flip them and sew down the other side. And then it'll be 2 knot bags. So we probably have about another hour worth of work total, maybe. Just finishing knot bags, which actually works out pretty good. So we're not doing bad. And then I don't remember what else I said I was gonna do. I think it was large box bag sewing, but I just realized that I need to like fully match all the large box bags with zippers. So I guess I might be moving you over to the zipper drawer again to match the zippers with the box bags. I will finish this side, then we'll clear off all these clips. They've like gathered under my sewing arm, and then I will also have another drink of Diet Coke. Keep myself caffeinated and going. Alright. Come on, Grime Guard. Good job, sewing machine. You are just ticking along. I love when the sewing just goes smooth, and it's like, right, this is why I do it, and why I enjoy it. Alright, I'll be right back after a drink here. There are also definitely the days where it's like, why do I do this? Just double checking what else I said I was going to do today. Oh yeah, I said I was going to zipper match. Sweet. Alright, let's see what Nomura Taylor posted. They probably posted pretty fabrics I wish I could have. There have been better ones. I have a bunch of plaids in right now. Alright. Don't get too distracted by the internet. You know it'll happen. Alright, flip this. We can even just chain piece all the way back. So I'm gonna pull all the ones that we finished out of the depths from behind the sewing machine here. All those satisfying clip clicks. I do not understand why this phone keeps pausing. That is super weird. I wonder if it's overheating because... Oh, okay, 1 second. So I got a new pop socket for the back, and I wonder if it's because I'm... That's what it'll be. It's really hot on the back. Okay, so that the phone doesn't die in the middle of the stream, I've got it plugged in, of course, because it died on the middle of the first stream I did. So that was one of the learning curves. But it's a MagSafe case, and so this little doohickey is a pop socket thing, so I can take the pop socket off easily and actually wirelessly charge it at night. Plus I like the pop socket, so it was like I didn't want to give up pop socket for wireless charging. Anyway, I think what happening and why it keeps pausing is because it's charging and has the extra heat behind the battery of this pop socket thing. It's like just overheating, so hopefully taking that off actually solves it. It's not like I need it while it's sitting in the phone grip, so if that's what fixes it, superb. Alright, these are like all, I need to kind of flip the stack. There we go. Alright, and I was gonna actually put all these clips in the bin again. And I'll do it after this one. I swear I had enough clips last year, but we nearly used up all of them clipping these, so it's like, I think part of the problem is, well, definitely part of it is the kids keep spilling them, and so I'm pretty sure there's quite a few probably under stuff everywhere. And then they get broken, misplaced. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the scrap pile down here is already swallowed 24, maybe more. So when I tidy that up, there'll probably be a bunch in. But I thought I had close to 400. I know I had close to 400 because each order I did was like 200 clips. Now I know some of those are in a project in a whip box. But I shouldn't have come that close to the end of 400 clips for this many products. Oh. Apparently I might need to order more clips again. Kind of like, besides, for consumable tools for me, there's like rotary blades, the strap cutting blades, the leather cutter, and clips, or pins. Since I'm not using pins as often, they aren't as consumables right now. This is obviously outside of like the thread and fabric that I use. It's like the consumable tools of the trade. So if I have to order more clips, I don't feel that bad. I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Alright. Now back into the cake cozies. These guinea pigs are freaking adorable. Got them on a couple different colorways. What I call vanilla bean because it's like an off-white with little speckles of brown in it. So it reminds me of like proper vanilla bean ice cream, which is fun. And then this one, which is navy. Those are the two colorways. If there's different colorways of fabrics, I usually do try to get at least two of them, sometimes more. Like this, the cats are back in town one. Oop, that needs to be restitched over. I got it in 3 colorways because they were just too good not to get all 3 colorways, basically. There we go. And then sometimes it's only 1 colorway, and that's fine too. But yeah, if there's multiple colorways, I will tend towards getting multiple colorways as well. Alright, let's get this somewhat detangled. So in the saga of flight prices for Japan, we were looking at, it's like, we were originally planning to apply for the Tokyo Marathon in March of 2025. So we'd apply next year, basically for the following year. But flight prices to Japan in March right now are like, they used to run about $1,500. That was an expensive flight to Japan. And now they're running like $3,400, at least for what I'm seeing for like next year. So granted, like we're still like 6 months out. 7 months out. 6 months out. But it's like, that's not even flying like into Japan in February. So I told Alice, I'm like, let's maybe hold off on applying for that for a few years. It's kind of like, let's not. Let's wait for things to hopefully cool down a little bit, like at least flight price wise. That's nuts, but it's totally people, my friend termed it revenge traveling, and that's exactly what it is it's just people getting out to finally do stuff, so can't blame them. Japan's, obviously, I love Japan. Japan's really awesome. And it's more accessible than ever, too, so. But yeah, I was just like, we are not paying $3,500 a person to go to Japan in March. Eventually, just not right now. Now, I don't think that the flight prices will ever go down to what we paid like in past years, but I did find like flights in April next year that were like $1,000. The other drawback is I don't think we're going to be able to, or I don't think we can justify the cost of the direct flight from Calgary to Tokyo right now. So I think we'll end up going through Vancouver again, which honestly was worse in the past. I think it's actually gotten better. I haven't had any problems the last couple trips through, which is good. Just because like dealing with the border agents in Calgary is a lot nicer and easier typically because everything happens in one building. Whereas in Vancouver, because it's a port, they want, like, for commercial goods, they typically want you to go over and, well, okay. I get told something different every single time I go through CBSA, which just tells me no one knows what it's actually going down. So, I don't know. I'll deal with it. The thing about it is the flights in April through Vancouver were like $1,000 a piece compared to like $1,500 to $1,800 is what I've been seeing recently. So I'm like, okay, that's a good indication that April is the month to travel in. Actually, I should check how much it would be to fly with WestJet. I think that was with Air Canada through Vancouver, but maybe we could do like a WestJet flight. Because the nice thing about WestJet is that we both have RBC MasterCards that allow us a WestJet companion voucher now. And the companion voucher mean that the kiddos fly for like $320 plus like all the fuel surcharges, which sucks. Which right now are like $5,500 a piece still. Or not $550 a piece. Oh no. That's a lie. I'm pretty sure that's also covered. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Companion voucher still means that the child flies quite significantly cheaper, so we might still end up on a direct flight. So all these quotes are for adult fares that don't have any deductions on them, so. Always trying to get around stuff with rewards points. Try to do stuff as cheap as possible that way, at least. Eek. Okay, there we go. That was a rocky start to that stitching. But I did it. Alright, we're almost through. Well, no, we're not. Never mind. There's still quite a bit of fabric on my lap. We're going to do this cake cozy, and then we'll do another clip clearing. Herd must be cleared. There we go. Just about there. Ticking along. As soon as I'm done these cake cozies, I need to change this needle though. I think sewing machine needles are only supposed to run for about 8 hours, and I think this one has probably run for longer than that at this point. Yeah, I didn't poke myself at all on that. Didn't even hurt. Okay, maybe we should change it now. Yeah, let's change it now. So I'm just gonna clip that one side of the chain piecing. We'll trim these threads. Pull these out of the abyss. Haha, look at that gorgeous amount of chain piecing. Whoa. Love it. Nice. Alright. That was extremely satisfying to watch. Okay. We're gonna change the needle. That's what we're doing. I need my little needle bins. Alright, what size are you? That's the size I want. A little bit too large, and I need my screwdriver, which is in the disaster that's behind me. Haha, got my screwdriver. You can't see that because my picture's in the way. This is actually the original screwdriver that even came with a sewing machine, so I'm quite pleased that I've kept it around. Alright. I probably should turn my sewing machine off, so I'll do that right now. Don't have to turn off any of the lights because the lights aren't connected to the actual sewing machine. But that way, if I accidentally step on the pedal, oh yeah, that probably needed to be changed a while ago. Oh well. I'm gonna stuff it on my pin cushion for now, just so I don't get mixed up with a new needle. So these, if you've worked with a domestic machine before, these needles are a little bit different. The domestic machine needles have like a flat bit to them, so that you can never mess up how you actually install them. I consistently mess up how I install these needles. I don't know why. I don't know how my brain doesn't just keep a record of like how the needle is supposed to face, but it does not stick in my head. So I will probably extremely likely have to redo this needle threading in a few minutes when my machine goes hell no, and the thread pulls out of the needle. So let's see. Thread the needle. Oh yeah, no, I can already tell that that's the wrong way. Okay, so let's turn it around. Okay, my phone completely went blank. Alright, one moment. I'm actually going to check all the notifications while I'm on here and out anyway. See if I can get the video started again. Alright. The video has started again. I'm just going to make sure that there's nothing urgent that I'm missing. No, we're good. Okay, video has started again. I think the phone just overheated. So maybe I should unplug it for a little bit and like... Yeah, I'm going to unplug it for a bit so that there's not quite so much temperature that way with the battery. And then I'm pretty sure that's more or less where it was before. So let's go live again. There's no video. Oh, maybe this. Collab cam. Let's not see it. And then let's see it. Show on stream. There we go. Hi. So it might have just dropped through the software too. You have a much wider view of my desk now, and I'm not 100% sure why. Oh well. Anyway, so we'll leave it unplugged for a little bit. And I'll just try and keep an eye on the battery. So, we've changed the needle, and now we're going to put thread the needle. I'm pretty sure, no. I changed the needle, but I was going to turn it when I noticed that the camera went out. Right. Okay, loosen it off a little bit, turn the needle. So basically there's a groove for like the thread that has to run the direction that the thread goes in. So the thread goes from left to right on this needle, and so that groove needs to be facing to the left. Our youngest is like super close to dropping their nap. They are a complete beast to put to bed if they overnap right now. And so we've been asking our day home woman to like, well, we asked her to try to drop it, but he's like, the day home, she hasn't been able to like drop it completely. And she just messaged me and she's like, I'm so sorry, they're still sleeping like a half hour. And I'm like, nope. The main thing is I did not, like, they've gotten better at actually going to sleep. And that was the main thing, is they needed to be better at going to sleep. Not going to sleep at like 10 o'clock, because that's too late for me. Considering that I need how much work I have to do right now. Oh, that's so much better. Okay, so I started this needle at 3:06 on Thursday the 24th. Now, I won't be sewing with it for 8 hours straight today, but I'll probably need to change it again tomorrow then. Which means I need to invest in some more needles. Needles! That's what time? Yeah, so basically at the 2:20 mark for this stream is when so it's like if I stream 4 times for 2 hours each, that means that I need to change my needle, basically. Because yes, that sounds way, 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 way smoother, which means it's not going to be puncturing the fabric as much and causing potential tears, basically. So much better. Oh no. Oh, our bobbin thread ran out. I'm like, why did that just spring open? Alright. Well, I should have just checked that while I had the needle out. Okay, it stopped right there. That's actually a good spot for it to have stopped at least, because that's easy enough to like restart from. Swoop that back. Okay. That was actually a lot of sewing on one bobbin. Yeah. Empty. That's quite a dramatic way to find out that it was empty, however, with it like springing out. I'm free! Flynn's still down here sleeping on the knot bags. So you know they're gonna be good when he sleeps on them this long. Alright, there we go. Like that. Alright, so we've got to restart here. And now I've got a pile of stuff at my feet. Just pull that back up in its sequence. Not that these really have any weight, but I have had it in the past where it's like something's gotten hooked and then like pressed my actual foot, like the pedal. That's so nerve-wracking. Alright, off we go. Okay, now of course I took the clips out as I was sewing, but the nice thing is that it's been kind of pressed down by this presser foot now. So I can start that. Nice hemline there, and then we'll start the bobbin winding on this side. Make sure it's actually winding. Good. Pop down here. Anyway, so yeah, so we're trying to get our youngest to drop their nap. It's not quite working. Half an hour nap, whatever. They go to bed. Super easy, and that's the main thing. Is just bedtime needed to be easier and earlier, because it was like slowly drifting towards 10 o'clock, and I'm like, I don't mind them going to bed at like 8:30, that's fine, but 10 too late because I do need to be downstairs working. Anyway, the day home lady just said that the youngest was out and like napping in the play area. So I told her it's fine. We needed the reduction for sure, because we dropped it to an hour and that was too much still. So it's just like, no, we gotta either it's gotta be dropped completely or it needs to be reduced again. So apparently reducing it again is going to help, hopefully. It's also like, then it's ridiculous because it's like not just the nap length, but the nap timing as well. So if it's past a certain point, and like my eldest has no problem with this. I pick them up from like preschool and they nap in the truck on the way home. Sometimes they nap on the couch, and then they'll still go to bed at like 8 to 8:30. But my eldest has always been higher sleep needs too. My youngest has always been lower sleep needs, like typically up earlier. They dropped their second nap super early, like I'm surprised they are actually still napping to an extent, because my eldest actually dropped their nap around this time last year. So anyway, I know they're all, it's amazing, they're all different because they're all different little humans, right? But it's just like the second kid isn't any easier because you had one kid, because it's like they're just so different. watching this and you're either a twin or you are a parent, especially a parent to twins, let me know in the comment section or the live chat. I would really like to know if like there's that much discrepancy between twins. Now obviously all of these stories are going to be different, but I am curious now. I did have mine very close together. We had them 11 months apart. I wish they were twins in some ways. At least I would have had only been pregnant once. This way though, it's like, now we're like, I don't know. All the arguments for doing it this fast together are like holding true. It definitely has its difficulties. But I'm also looking at my eldest and I'm like, they're about the average age when most people are adding a second kid. And I'm just looking at like how much of a shift she would have from like this independent little kiddo to like a newborn, and I couldn't do it. So that was actually one of the main things. The other main thing is I didn't want to be running around after a toddler when I was like super pregnant, and I wasn't, thankfully, because I had them 11 months apart. My eldest was just learning to walk when I gave birth. This was not the original plan, but it's also just kind of like, it's just how it happened. We were gonna have a 2-year gap. But, oh well. We are done though. My husband wanted 3 kids, and I put my foot down about that. I'm like, nope. We are not going to outnumber one parent's hands. And actually, a set of my friends had a 3rd kid last year, and they said the jump from 2 to 3 was insane for them. So I've noticed a really big difference in jumping from 1 to 2 kids, even though there was only 11 months apart. But they said that their biggest one was 2 to 3 kids because everyone always needed something of one of them or both of them, and then there's always one just kind of like left out sort of thing. So you could see that. The thing I've heard about 3 kids is it's like, and this was my argument against 3 kids to begin with, is don't outnumber my hands, and things aren't built for 5. Vehicles aren't built for 5. Tables aren't built for 5. If you win a trip, it's built for 4 people. Like, just, there's costs of having a 3rd kid. Like, even with Dallas, like, he's got a really good job, but I wouldn't be able to stay at home with 3 kids. Which is ridiculous that I would have to like make money to pay for the childcare by working outside the house. Even at this point, it's a bit of a stretch some days. Thankfully, like, we've got childcare subsidy in Alberta now, which is amazing. Not subsidy. Well, there's subsidy as well, but there's grants, which applies to everyone, no matter your income. And we couldn't actually afford it without the grants. And it's so important for like that young age group to go out and do preschool and daycare, I think. And I've heard the term, it's like, you can't, that whole like, mom should be the only one raising them, like the essentialism. But I saw that what that did to my mom, and it didn't do her any favors. So, yeah, I'm enjoying. My kids enjoy their time out of the house. I enjoy them when they're time out of the house. And I'm able to get lots of my work done while they're gone too. So that's the only way I do get my work done, is them being out of the house. We were supposed to start it earlier, but obviously plans changed as well because of COVID. Otherwise, yeah, I would have had them out of the house earlier. There we go. There is all of the Grime guards and all the cake cozies done. I'm gonna shake them at you. And now I'm gonna have another drink of Coke, and then we will go in and do the knot bags. Okay, just mute the mic here. Just checking the heat on the back of the phone again. Very flim-flam. I Gotta get these out from under you, honey. Sorry. There's still fabric for you to sleep on there, though. Okay, 1, 2. Excellent. Alright, so how many do we actually have to finish? Not that many, I don't think. So there's 1. There's some sheep. Actually, I'll just show you the fabrics as we go through here, because why not? There's these sheep with, like, sunglasses. So there's a couple of cotton linen blends. And then, so I'm going to make 2 stacks, because then I can cut the proper amount of cotton linen blends. There's those guinea pigs again on the navy. There's a constellations. Constellations and the stars are all done in that like gold shimmer. So that's 4. Ruler cats, 5. Itty bitty birds, 6. Cats and micro cats in forest, 7. 8. 9. 10. This is an older fabric, but a goodie. I think this is the last of it, except for maybe a triangle pouch. I think they said that was 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. All right, that's a nice even number. Citrus on navy. All right, so 14. So, and then I think it looks like a pretty even split between cotton and cotton linen blends. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So hedgehogs are 85.15, micro cats are 85.15, ruler cats are 85.15. These sheeps are 80.20, and these sheeps are 80.20. Okay, so there's the 80.20 for the sheep. And then I need what? 1, 2, 3, 85.15. 3 85.15s. 3 85.15s. 1, 2, 3 85.15s. And another 80.20 for the pink sheep. And then cut these guys for that, and then we'll go down. And then the cotton one's already done because I very much over prepared. I'm gonna throw these in this drawer. There's no point in them being elsewhere right now because that's just what I'm doing. And I've got all the cotton ones here for the cotton ones. Screwdriver should go back in the drawer as well. Like that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. I'll pop these back over with the cat. Nice warm little blanky for him. And then what we're doing is we are placing we're just basically finessing the handles together so that I can French seam them. I'm doing them a little bit different French seam style than I have in the past. And it worked fine. So we're just gonna do it. Typically what you would do is you do right sides facing together first, and then wrong sides facing together. But in this case, I'm gonna do, in the past, what I have done for the knot bag is I've done exteriors facing together and then interiors facing together. This time we've flipped that and I'm doing interiors together first and then exteriors together. It prevented me from actually twisting the bag accidentally, and I think it's gonna work better. I don't know, we'll see. It worked fine on the white ones, so we're just gonna continue it here. And I'm actually going to just adjust the camera down a little bit so that you can see the desk a little bit better. I don't know why. Oops. No, start video. Thank you. Back camera, I think. There we go. Yeah, now you can actually see the machine a bit better. Sweet, there we go. I wonder if this would actually work better on desk view now, but that's at least a little bit closer. That phone is still very hot. Okay, so reminder to self, do not leave it running and charging with the pop socket on the back. Oops. Oh well. Live and learn. I already need to run I don't know how it happened, but I absolutely shattered the back of this phone a while ago, like pre-Japan in November, I think. No, it would have been in May, before May. I think, so I've always used OtterBox for my iPhones, and in the last little bit I've switched to the OtterBox Symmetry, which has usually been fine, but there had been a bunch of complaints about the OtterBox Symmetry, the non-MagSafe version. So I think what happened is honestly, it just wasn't protective enough. Now we have AppleCare, but because it's the back of the phone, they're basically replacing the whole phone, and even with AppleCare, that's pretty pricey. Like, still better than having to buy a new phone. Still not nice to the pocketbook, so it's gotta wait for a bit. But I don't think that's helping any overheating problems it may be having right now. Now these are all super rough. There's a lot of like extra seam above, blah blah blah. It gets trimmed off. The seam allowance actually gets trimmed down significantly to do French seams, because basically you're encasing the seam within itself, within the fabric. So what'll happen is I'll trim the seam allowance down to about 1/8 of an inch, and then I go back over with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and it like infolds and keeps all the raw edges like super nice. That was a big bzz. Oh, apparently it's not going to give me the notification. Hello. Oh, I can stay home. Okay. Sweet. I promise I come back. Okay, apparently when I go into the notification screen, it actually turns the video off. Interesting. Alright. Good to know. I do think it's cooling down a little. Yeah, it's a little bit cooler than it was. That's good. I went to spin this morning. We go to a local studio in Cochrane. I've been going for ages. I actually looked at how many classes I've done with them the other day, and it was like 411 at this point, which is nuts. That's so insane. Anyway, I'm impressed. And they survived the pandemic, which is awesome, and it's a good studio. I really like it. They're bringing out their fall schedule soon, and I'm hoping that they've got a little bit more yoga on it for the fall. That would be nice. Well, hopefully I can join in some of it. If it falls on certain days, it's easier, obviously. But it's like, they used to have a core flow, and that was my favorite yoga class. So it was like a flow yoga class, and then it was like core work, which I'm like, I need core work. I did the class for about 2 years before kids, and it was amazing. Love it. I wish I want it to come back. I have told them that I want it to come back, so hopefully it falls on the schedule at some point soon. And I'm not the only one asking for it to come back either. It's actually been one of their big feedback things from like open house and like other people asking, so it's like it could happen. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see pretty soon actually. I should actually go look at their fall schedule and see what they're bringing in. Their spin classes have pretty much stayed the same, which is nice. Same teachers, pretty much the same schedule. They've actually added like a 6:30 a.m. class, which I'm like, nope. I've already got my alarm going off at about 6:45 to get up with the kids for school and everything. And honestly, we probably could use it even earlier at this point, just to get ourselves like actually out the door on time. But that's okay. It's good enough. Plus, I don't know if waking up my kids earlier than 6:45 would be good for any of us. Maybe 6:30. Alright. Sweet. 10 more to go. I don't know why I stacked those bags with their tags. I might need to actually just go in and sew. No, I'm gonna pull their tags and set them on the desk as I go. I shouldn't have stacked. So I stacked them with the bags already, and I'm like, wait, I'm not doing tags. I'm doing handles. Bah. Oh well. That's easy enough to fix. It's just annoying. Maybe I needed a coffee instead of Diet Coke. Terrible joke just came to mind, but I am not going to say that on YouTube. If I was in person, I 100% would. Just know if it jumped into your head too, it's very likely it might have been what I was thinking as well. I'm telepathically sending it your direction, and it is terrible. This navy citrus fabric is really fun. It's a Dobby, so it's a slubby warp and weft, which gives a really light fabric, a very nice texture, and it feels like it would be more durable as well. I don't know if that's true, but it definitely feels like it. I just realized actually, I wonder if I could do an overlay that gives you information about my upcoming event. I should look into that. See, this is part of the learning curve that would be super useful to know now by osmosis, instead of me having to spend time researching it. Maybe that's what I should put my husband to next week when he's home. No, because I want that overlay as soon as possible. Okay, I will look into it and see. Wonder if it's something that I can like design in Canva or something and then send, and then like upload. I'll have to look into that. That'll actually be my research project tonight while the kids are playing after school. Cause I think, ooh, it's super windy outside. I wonder if it'll be nice enough to go outside. It says absolutely no chance of rain, but those definitely look like rain clouds. I don't know. If it's not too windy, we'll go outside. Research it because I can take the laptop outside, and I'm gonna work on. So I've got some small products coming to Knit City. Hopefully, I'm not gonna say what they are in case I don't. I've got other new small products that are gonna come. So small products will be coming with me. New small products. Actually, it's a really cool system, and I will share it on Instagram before Knit City. But the other one, I don't know. I'm like all set up to do it, but it's hard to do around the kids, which was the plan. So given that when the kids aren't around, I'm sewing mostly, I'm like, I don't know when I'll have time to do it. But I'm going to tease you with it anyway. Because why not? It's my stream. And we'll see what I get done before Knit City. Something that I can also do on the road, which will be good. Although the plan already is to be tagging bags while we're driving out to Vancouver. Oh yeah, I was talking about how there's some of the, like, audiobooks that I was going to re-listen to, and one of the ones that I do tend to re-listen to right now is Strange the Dreamer by Lainey Taylor. It's one of two in a duology for Strange the Dreamer, and then the second one is Muse of Nightmares, and it's one of the ones that I've wanted Dallas to like listen to, and he started it last year but didn't get it finished, so I'm like, we should listen to that on the way to Vancouver. Typically it would be something that I'd listen to while I'm sewing, but I'm like, I can wait. Given that I'm streaming so much anyway, I'm not listening to a lot of audiobooks while I sew, which means that my audiobook consumption is drastically down, which is not the worst thing. When you're like constantly listening to audiobooks, you go through them really, really, really fast. I am, however, listening to Mr. Impossible by Maggie Stiefvater right now. It's like a follow-up trilogy to her Raven Boys Quartet, which I really enjoy. I really enjoyed it because it's like male friendship, healthy and unhealthy, I don't know, male relationships, and like a quest story and atypical males, which is awesome. It did have a little bit of like I'm a hero story, but nowhere near as much as like I am the chosen one sort of stuff, and I think that's really important to read in young adult, especially in young adult stuff as well. Finessed together well enough. Stitch across. 7 more to go, and then we'll be done that first round of stitching on the knot bags. I'm pretty sure some of the so my knot bags are totally a smash up of a bunch of different patterns and tutorials online, mostly tutorials with like pattern templates online. I don't even remember where I got my original pattern template from anymore, which is kind of scary because I'm like, if I set this, if I lose it, then I lose it. What I should do is, I know what I should do. I should take it to Staples or like a copy shop and get them to photocopy it multiple times so that I have like multiple backups in case I lose one or something like that, and then like I could just cut them out as I need them, sort of thing. That could work. I wonder if they could photocopy onto like a cardstock in one piece though, like a large poster. I should talk to the copy shop that's in downtown Cochrane actually and find out if they could do that. Anyway, the mashup is like, none of them said that I should French seam the tops. They actually said that you should like stuff them into each other and basically hem them, but I could never get them to look nice that way. Probably should try again now because it's like I've been sewing knot bags for a while. Obviously my skills as a sewist have changed. Like just like anything. It's like I've just gotten better because I've been practicing so much. So I probably should try actually doing a different way of finishing them. But this is not the batch to do that on. This is the batch to just have everything so smoothly. And get them done for Knit City. Alright, 6 more bags. And then we'll be done this first row of stitching, and then we'll do the turnaround stitching, and then we'll do the top stitching. And then we'll stitch the tags into them. So I think we'll probably end up, I've got about an hour until I need to head out. So we might actually get them done. If you're here to see the Baaad Anna's zipper pull, I will not be doing that right now. I will be doing that on stream tonight or off stream tomorrow morning. I'm not 100% sure. Tonight I was thinking I'm going to cut the remainder of the linings for the big bags, or the large box bags that I want to bring with me to Knit City for the booth, because I've already cut all the ones for Paula. And then I could zipper pull tomorrow. Yeah. Although honestly, I don't know how many large box bags there are to cut linings for me, so let's see what happens tonight. If I get another couple hours to really crack down on stuff, I'll probably get a lot more done than I expect. When Dallas is home next week, I will be on stream for quite a while. I'll probably do a little bit more of a breakup. This is a fairly long stream today, but I'm like, I may as well keep rolling. I'm not too tired yet. That's a lie, I am tired, but I'm not too tired to be on stream yet. I'm still making, at least to myself, I'm still keeping some coherency rolling. Yeah, I'll be on as much as I can when he's home, just because it's like, it keeps me on track. And we have a lot of kato to sew next week. Because the goal will probably be, well, we'll definitely get to kato next week. I just don't know when next week yet. So, it's mostly a hunker down week. It's just like, hunker down, put your head down, get your work done. Don't complain. Complaining takes time. And you don't have time. That is a complaint. I need like 28 hours. I need 4 more waking hours per day where I could work extra. 4 more working hours, that would be good. Now granted, I could have that in the morning, but I need to keep my exercise up, so that's part of it. Right now I cannot drop my exercise unless I absolutely need to. Because otherwise I'm going to be completely screwed for the Disney runs in January. Even at this point, I'm like, I'm pushing my luck right now. I was thinking about that the other day. So I ran 11 miles on Monday, which is the furthest I've ever gone. And this will not be the last time. Like, every 2 weeks it goes up 2 miles, which is a nice, steady up. But basically, in 2 weeks, it'll be 13 miles, which is basically a half marathon. A half marathon is 13.1 miles. So I honestly think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a half, because I'm just like, what is the point of not doing 0.1 miles? I'll probably die, but no, I won't. I will survive. I may be extremely sore though. Who knows? Anyway, that was a complete exaggeration. I will not. There's a whole point. There's a point to me doing this program, is the fact that like it is a slow and steady gain, with the goal of not injuring myself. Which so far so good. And actually I'm maintaining my average pace very well for these longer runs. So that's the other nice thing that I'm seeing, because I am at the lowest end of the average pace you can have for these races, because you got to be in and out of the Disney parks before they open, of course, with race weekend, because you run through the parks. That's part of the appeal. Anyway, so I'm like at the dead bottom of the barrel, slowest you can go and actually still finish the race right now, and I'm only running 11 miles. I'm not even half marathon yet. Anyway, I got really sore around 4 miles on Monday, and then I got really sore and really slow around 8 miles. And I was kind of like, I kind of wish I'd given myself 1 more year of recovery. Because here's the thing, I only really started feeling like myself after the postpartum period. I will always be postpartum, but like the acute postpartum period, I feel like only just lifted in May. Like I only really started feeling like myself in May. And so I kind of wish I'd given myself like an extra year of training. But at the same time, it's good that I'm doing it this way, because it's like, it's pushing me to do it. Like unless I was doing this, I wouldn't be training this much. So there's that too. There's pros and cons to it both ways. I'm not ready, I'm not mentally ready to run a half marathon, but I guess that's what I'm doing not next week, but the week after, like 10 days. Now, of course, this is an unofficial half. This is like a personal running half, but I'm just like, oh God. But yes, I'm gonna go that extra 0.1 a mile, because I'm just like, it's pointless to not go 0.1 of a mile. Why stop at 13? I may as well do 13.1. At that point, actually, no big deal. Although Dallas's and my runs are starting to get so long. He's doing a slightly different training program, so he's doing one that he's been doing for years. But our runs are starting to get so long, I think we're going to start doing what we call support crew, which means that we'll split our runs on who runs their really long run on what day, and then the other person will come and support crew the other one by like riding a bike behind with like water and gels and snacks and all of that. Because that was the other thing, is it's like about the halfway point I got extremely hungry. So we kind of looked into like what we should carry along. So what I was thinking was like just take a granola bar, and that would be perfect. So I'm gonna start carrying like a granola bar on those really long runs, and I'll eat it at the halfway point. I know a lot of runners carry bananas, but I'm like, I don't want to be running with a banana in my hand. At least a granola bar I can like tuck into my little like waist pack. Although I guess if Dallas is riding support crew, then he could put it in his backpack, but it's squished. So I think a granola bar is just better. Packaged, easy, fast, satisfying. That's the big one. Cheap. Because Dallas is like, well, maybe nutrition bars. I'm like, I don't know. I just want it cheap and easy. And I can get massive packs of like Costco granola bars at Costco that are tasty. So let's do that. Ooh, that was a little bit close, but that's okay. Alright, so now we've trimmed down that edge. There, you can't really see it that well actually, because it's dark stitching. Anyway, I trimmed down the edge, and now when we go to sew it back, I'll show you. So this is what the edge kind of looks like before. This is actually a fairly clean one, just because there's not a lot of like extra fabric up here. But we're gonna take the scissors, and you know what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna move my picture-in-picture down to the left here. Ooh, that is my phone. That's the picture I want you watching. Sorry. There. Okay. Now we can see a little bit more of the desk. So we're gonna take it and we're gonna just trim it down. This is probably a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm gonna trim it down to about 1/8 of an inch, and then that's what they'll get encased in the French seam. Yeah, so anyway, so we were kind of looking at like different nutrition recommendations and stuff like that, of like what to do. Obviously they're like, if you're eating solids on the trail, there's a higher risk of like, or while you're running, there's a higher risk of aspiration. And it's like, well, yeah, just, I don't know. I run walk anyway. I'm always intervaling. So it's like, yeah, I'll just eat it on one of my walk cycles then. It's really not that big a deal. So, I've been using gels quite a bit for like a mid-run energy boost, but I recently switched over to, I think they're called Honey Stinger. They're some sort of like electrolyte energy gel, or not gel, sorry, gummy. And they've actually been working a lot better for me, and they taste better to me as well. It's like eating candy, which is way nicer than like squirting a gel in my mouth. The first few times I did the gels, it made me gag because I'm diabetic. I'm not used to like just like shoving literal glucose into my mouth unless I'm low. But the thing about it too is that like, because I'm diabetic, I'm on diabetic medication. I have a dose of diabetic medication in the morning before I go for my run usually. So I'm also trying to like counteract that a little bit too, because I have to take it or else the rest of my day is like just, it's not good. But anyway, yeah, I've been using the Honey Stinger Energy Chews, and they are very tasty. My favorite is the cherry blossom so far, in part because so the fruit punch is really good, or tropical fruits or whatever. It's like a mix of a bunch of flavors, but they get sticky, which is weird. They're like, I don't know. Whereas I think the cherry blossom ones are coated in something, or it's just how they're finished, or I don't know. Sorry, I just realized I should be doing this more up on the desk. Anyway, I'm not 100% sure, but they have a more matte finish, so they don't get sticky and get stuck in their bag. I actually, I have been using them enough that I know that the packet, like, there's too many in the packet for me to eat at once. So there's like 8 in the packet, and I need, or 10 in the packet, and I need like 4 each time I need that boost. So what I did is I actually pre-portioned them out the other day for my run into little baggies, and that worked out really well. So I'm not fumbling like opening a bag and then only getting 4 little gummies out of the bag. All of that. So that is one of the benefits of the gels, is that they're a better portion control for me, but whatever. I like the gummies better. So gummies, and then I will do some granola bars for the longer runs, because they're about the same calories and carbs as those things. What other things? Oh, the gel packs. So that's fine. That'll be good. I think there's more fiber in them. That's the only drawback. But it's like, then I'll stick around a little bit longer. We gotta figure out if we can get the like gummies and gels when we're down in the States, but I think we're gonna have to pack them in Canada if we're allowed. I don't see why we wouldn't be allowed, but just so we don't have, like, we're gonna get down there too late to go pick anything up before our 5K. Although I guess realistically we could go pick up stuff before our 10.5, or after our 5K, blah blah blah. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, so what we've done now is we've put interior sides together, and now to finish the rest of the top, we flip it and we put the exterior sides together to finish the French seam. So now you can see on the side there, it was like perfect back here. We're going to encase the raw edges of the seam with another seam. Okay, so I'm going to just do one for now. I'll show you what I mean in a second once I finish both of these, and then I'll chain piece everything. So that's why you want to trim it down so much, is because you're trying to, like, you still only want about a 1/4 inch seam allowance, or smaller. If it's smaller though, the smaller it is, the smaller you have to trim down the seam. So like I said, typically you would start with right sides together, or with wrong side, yeah, wait, no, right sides together, right? I don't remember anymore. If I've got any little like thread ends, I'm going to take a lighter to them this time, just to clean them up, because right now they will be a disaster. Like that. Alright, so now we've created this, and you can actually see that that previous seam has been closed in there. And then what we're going to do is, because we've sewn it that way, we're going to top stitch that little, so there's a flap there now, a little nubby flap. We're going to top stitch that down to finish the bag. So we're going to take this in like this. I need to create a hump jumper for my machine because it's never happy starting on these seams. It's fine once it gets going, but like this little bit, trying to get under the feed dogs to get my needle in the feed dog's turkey is a little bit harrowing at times. It also is better when it's actually like the top stitch length, but I don't want to have to keep changing my stitch length back and forth. Alright, come here. There we go. So now it is all finished on this side, and then all we have to do is we got to go in and do the tag. So we've got less than an hour, no, about 45 minutes. We'll see where I can get to before I need to head out. I am surprised that I have kept myself on stream this long, to be honest. Usually I finish around the 2-hour point just because I'm tired, and honestly watching back 3 hours of footage of me sewing and dithering is probably not the most interesting. Can't be the worst, but it also can't be the most interesting thing you can do with your day sometimes. I don't even listen back to myself when I'm doing stuff because it's just like, no. Okay, I'm gonna finish this one, then I'm gonna have a drink of my Coke Zero, and then we're just gonna jump right into the rest of the knot bags because I want to get these done. Back stitch, hold the stitches in place, front back stitch here. We'll throw the tag in now so that I don't forget later. Oh, that's a nice finish. I like it. So before I was doing it, the little flippy flap, like nubbin from the French seam here, would be on top, which is fine too. There is still kind of a little bit of a nubbin here, but now the majority of it is underneath, and you've got a nice clean single stitch line instead of the dual stitch line that you would have had before. So I don't know, I think it cleans up the top. I just started doing it this way this week. I might switch back later, who knows, but that's what I'm doing right now. So we're gonna just turn it, pop the tag in, and then I will just chain piece the rest of this together so that we can just crank out as much as we can before I need to head out the door. Alright. Like this. Then we're gonna pop it in like that. Hello, little pretty cat. So I didn't know this. I don't know why I didn't clue into this before. But in November I got told that the calico cat in Japan is considered super lucky. And like, because, and it's true, if you look at Maneki Neko's, the lucky cats, the bobbing hand cats, most of them, they're either golden, or in Japan, most of them that I see on a regular basis are calico. And I had just like chosen the calico because I like calico cats. without even really thinking. Maybe I kind of subconsciously knew. I don't remember ever getting told that. I guess maybe I forgot. That's possible too. But like, I got told. I'm like, oh my goodness. So like, totally locked out with my logo of a lucky cat. There are the sheep though. They look so good. This fabric is so good. And so the knot bag, if you've never encountered them before, you've got this like long handle. Here, I'm gonna put it back down on the desk so I can show you here, hopefully. So you got the long handle and you got the short handle. And what you do to make them actually work as a bag is you pull the long handle through the short handle, and then you can put your wrist through it, and then there's your bag. All nice and contained. Super lightweight. Just a nice, easy bag. Flynn's like, why are you removing stuff from under me? I demand recompense for you waking me. Okay. Let's get it done. We can do it. Let's see if I can at least get the handles done before I need to go pick up kiddos. I think I can do that at least before I go for kiddos. Nothing important. Alright. I wonder actually if it pauses while I'm getting notifications sometimes. That could be it too. Alright. That's done. So how many did I say I had? 14. So now we're down to 12. Excellent. 12, and we need 13 more with tags. And then, yeah, so after this, what I'll do is they'll go under the iron or the steam press. I haven't decided which. Probably the iron, just because it's a little bit easier to manage. And then I'm going to take the lighter, the Zippo, to the to these thread ends actually, so that they just get nice and cleaned up a little bit. I don't know why I never thought of doing that before, but I've always been like super meticulous about clipping in and getting all the little thread ends, and it never works exactly right. So just melting them off with the lighter is going to be so much nicer. So yeah, if you watched a lot of my streams and you want to chime in with what you think of the new mic, I would appreciate it. From what I heard last night, so the lav mic was definitely louder, but not necessarily in a good way. I think the Sennheiser, I think it's better. I'm still not 100% sold, to be honest, but I think I'll stick with it. Mostly because, like I said, it's just more convenient to use with the phone, to be honest. And it's nice having something that will be really easy to switch between the phone and the laptop. So, all in one kit, basically, which is nice. And not having the wire between me and the phone. It'll just be the wire between the phone and the actual microphone. So, that will be nice, especially for filming in Japan. So, actually, that's a good point. I know it's a couple years out now, but if you have something you would like to see in Japan, let me know, and I can either I'll try to get something of it. This is stuff like, if you want to see well, I don't know about department stores, but like, I could show you the Gacha Gacha at Yodobashi. I think that would be a fun one, actually. Maybe Dallas and I will go do that this trip. Just like a whole, or the Akihabara. Yes, there we go. There's a big, or at least when I was there in November, there was a big wall of Gacha Gacha outside the big Cameron Akihabara. I think that might be the best way to do it. Maybe we'll do a Gacha tour. Live Gacha tour. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. Right, and there's a capsule place in Kyoto close to Nomo the Tailor that I could do that at too, actually. So I could do a couple different ones. Because I really like this idea of doing some of this stuff live, like the Nomo the Tailor and things. And then you can weigh in and we can like do some different gacha together and stuff. Yeah, I like this plan. I think it's a very good plan. Alright, kitty cat, I need the rest of my bags, and you're on the rest of the bags. There's 2 more under you. There we go. now you can rest on the other Grime guards that are still on there. Alright. Let's get this one done. Yeah, so I'll try and figure out an overlay. Right, that's the research project tonight, is figuring out an overlay where I can put updated event info. Ooh, and maybe like Instagram, and I don't think I can link anything on the overlay, but I could probably put like, well, it's not hard to find me on Instagram. My Instagram is Atelier Nikazuki. I'm Atelier Nikazuki across like all social media platforms, so Pinterest, YouTube, it's ateliernikazuki.com, but I could put the website. Where else am I Atelier Nikazuki? Facebook. Actually, Facebook would be a good one to help grow, because when I did my name change, they would not accept the name change from Nikazuki Knits to Atelier Nikazuki because it was too big a change. I should actually still pursue a like merger of those two accounts here eventually. Alright, we're getting close. We're getting close. I love these last steps of bags when it's like you can just see it all come together and finish up. It's so cool. As I was discussing the other day on stream, I'm like, I am a product person. So like, I do not hate the process, but like there's always this discussion between like, for knitters, it's like, are you a product or a process knitter? So are you knitting to knit, or are you knitting to get the thing, the product at the end? And I am 100% a product knitter. I'm also a product sewer though too. I've noticed that recently. And it changes. Sometimes it's I knit to knit, and sometimes I sew to sew, but most of the time I am knitting or sewing for the end product. That is what I want. That got really jiggly. Sorry. Hopefully, so maybe tonight I'll set up the ring light behind me and we'll have a bit of a different perspective on this whole shenaniganry. Oh right, because I gotta do that anyway, because we're gonna be doing, I could do something different because we're gonna be doing, what are we going to be doing? We're going to be doing large box bag lining cuts and zippers, so I gotta set up something different anyway. Alright, there we go. 2 more bags to do this too, and then we'll take them out and we will top stitch the flappy flap, and it looks like I will also be able to put the tags in it. So, if I can, I will finish these right now. If I cannot, we will be extremely close and we will finish them up tonight. Just so I can check it off the whiteboard. Because that is the next thing to do, is like check it off the whiteboard. Which, right? Oh no, okay, the knot bags are on there. I'm like, do I have knot bags on the whiteboard? I thought I wrote knot bags, mostly just because it's like they were so close to being done. It's like if they don't get finished, it's just that's dumb. I should get them finished. Yeah, they are on there though, so I can check them off now that they're almost done. Well, once they're done. I'm so close. I'm excited. Okay. Another drink, because my throat is starting to be like, hey, you have talked a lot today. Should I be drinking water instead? 100%. Am I? No. I need the caffeine. That's my story. And I will stick to that story. Alright. Yeah, no, don't drop in the scrap piles. You're gonna bring a bunch of scrap up with you. Ah! Oh dear. Okay. That's another reason it's like, okay. So Saturday is going to be tidying up the scrap pile. Then Saturday night said I will come on and do whatever I can do. I'll update what I'm doing on stream on Instagram. That's going to be the easiest way to find out what I'm working on. So just because it's like I said, I'm behind. I figured I would have these knot bags and all the other grime guards and everything done before I actually I figured I'd have them done on Monday, but that's not what happened. In part because I knew there was no way I was going to be sewing after running on Monday, but for some reason I figured that I'd have them done by Sunday, and that it just didn't happen. So I'm a half week behind right now already. I'm barely into Knit City prep and already behind. But that's just how it goes sometimes, especially when machines start to have conniptions like the serger had the other day. If you weren't here earlier, I was still pulling grime guards and cake cozies that hadn't been serged properly. Even today, I had done an initial QC check, and then today I was just like, nope, these aren't gonna do. So they're in gentle timeout. I will get them actually I'm going to get them finished for Saturday because my friend is coming over and helping me to run elastic, so I want to have everything done that I want done for Knit City. So, and then I was also chatting about how I am going to do a preview of the products before Knit City, and so that'll probably happen. Well, that's something that I will definitely update on the Instagram because I don't know when that'll happen right now. It'll have to happen before I pack them up in the bags. But that's probably going to be the Monday or Tuesday. Usually it's the Wednesday before the event, so who knows? Maybe I will be better prepared. I doubt it. I am nothing if not someone who finishes stuff last minute because that's just how life rolls, especially right now. And that's fine. As long as I get it done is what I figure. It's done. Alright. So now what I'm doing is there's a little nub from the French seam, and basically I'm stitching the little nub down so that it's just, I don't know, I would find it annoying having it against my wrist. It's just also always the way I've done it. So I'll show you a comparison now that I've got this one finished compared to one that's unfinished. I will take a lighter to all these little extra strings and threads just to clean them up this time. My trusty Zippo will help me get this all sorted. It's funny because that a Zippo is one of the most random, I think it's the randomest thing I ever bought for the business. But it was I didn't want to keep going through disposable lighters like the Bic, even though they in some ways are better because there's little there's ones that have extended little reach, and honestly that is easier, but they are also really hard on my hands. So a Zippo is refillable, and that's good. Alright, so what they look like originally is they've got this little nub in here, because what you've done with the French seam is you've gone in and you've sewn one. So what I've done here is I've sewn the exterior layers together, I've sewn it together with the exteriors facing, then I've sewn it together with the interiors, oh my goodness. First step, sew it together, interiors facing, so the beige was facing. Next step, sew with the exteriors facing. So you can see that. That's what happened here. And what happens is you enclose the seam from the original step in this second seam. Now, however, that leaves this nub. So basically, I think the term for it is it's a felled seam. Pretty sure felled seams get done differently, but that's basically what I'm getting now. So you take this little nub, gets folded over now, and then I've been top stitching across it. And I try and line it up so you've got a nice finish up here. This, to me, is not as nice a finish as having it lay this direction. And then the other thing is that the two stitch lines end up on the bottom instead of ending up on the top. Now we just have one nice line of top stitching, like this guy. Sorry, I'm which which way do I hold it for the camera? And as you can see, that nub is gone. So it's been felled, and now you just got a nice handle that's nice and finished. So let's go in and do that again. Oh, right, you need your tag. I'm gonna stack that on the MacBook for now, and it can be dealt with later afterwards. So I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take the nub over this direction, finesse it just a little bit. I need to get a hump jumper or something. I need some cardboard under my machine. I should have remembered to bring some down today, because it does not like starting to stitch on the edge of this, because it's like really thick. It'll do it. It's fine, and this machine's built for it. But that start is always an argument. Alright, and then this one should go this way. Will look good. This one's harder to chain piece, so I'm only doing one bag at a time, basically. Just because. Alright. There is a lot of fluff in the air right now. Not like pollen fluff, just fabric fluff, I think. Okay, let me trim these down. And again, I'll take a lighter to these guys so that all these little extra ends get like taken out. And now, again, you've felled the seam and you've got this nice handle. It's very durable as well. It's like, because it's so many layers of flat fabric, I think that's something like 8 layers of fabric at this point. But yeah, like all these little thread ends, I'll take a lighter too, and then those will get cleaned up as well. I could do it with scissors, but honestly, if I use a little bit of a lighter, it'll like melt down because it's polyester thread. Ugh, excuse me. Do some hand sanitizer while I chat. It'll like melt it down, and then it'll actually help hold it in place. Whereas like clipping it has the potential of the back stitch. The back stitch shouldn't fully pull out, but I've had it like loosen, so I'm like, we'll singe those down with a lighter afterwards now. It wasn't something I ever thought of until I watched some tutorials by Okla Roots, and that's actually what she suggested. And then I tried it, and it was like, it's one of those life-changing hacks that like it just randomly comes into your life one day. I don't know how many of you have seen that. What's a life-changing hack that actually changed your life or whatever? And then everyone shows a version of like a hack that's changed their life. And so that would be mine. Take a lighter to those little thread ends. Alright, I think I can make this one work for chain piecing. There we go. Fold underneath here. Like that. So if you are coming to Knit City, let me know, especially if you would like any of these bags that you see me making, because I am more than happy to set stuff aside for pickup at Knit City. Or if you're not attending Knit City and you see something that you absolutely cannot do without, send me a message or an email. You can find my email through the website. There's also like a chat box. However you would like to contact me, and we'll get it figured out. Actually, if you're wanting to pick up at Knit City, that's the same. Like, contact me through there as well, because then I can set up like a free shipping code or something like that for you, and the invoice, because none of this will be listed on the site until after Knit City now, because I don't want to have save myself the work because of listing stuff and then having it like sell out at Knit City. There we go. Okay, now that one can also chain stitch. Hello, Grumpy. You're looking quite dapper today, Grumpy Cat. Not actual Grumpy Cat. This is just a grumpy looking cat. Alright. Come up. Shifty shift. Go. Okay, so we'll just kinda pop this out of here. I'm like, I don't chain piece these because it's too hard, and usually it is, but this is actually working out today. Sometimes it just works out, especially when you're not expecting it. get these done before I need to go. I believe I can. Maybe. Okay, pull the needle. If I don't get them done, we're going to be damn close, which is exciting. So the other thing I need to do, there's a few things I actually need to do administratively. So I actually need to get more tags for the bags. And I was designing them, and now I've got like a dilemma because Vistaprints, who I print my tags through, I just print their business cards because that's, like, I've always used the business card size, but like I've usually home printed them. My color printer bit the dust, so I only bought a black and white printer, which I am now regretting. But because I was like, I'm gonna get my like labels printed through or my tags printed through Vistaprint, which is fine. I'm still gonna do that because just the quality is nicer. Anyway, but now they've got square tags, and I'm always kind of like, should I do square tags or should I just do the tall tags like I always do? And I cannot decide. I think I might. I designed both because I was like, okay, let's see what this looks like. But I can't, like, I don't know. They're about the same price. So that's not a factor. The one thing is that with the standard business cards, so the like regular ones, I can do like some different accents or foil versus like I can't do any of that on the square ones. So I don't know yet. But I do need to decide soon because I need those cards like ASAP. Because if they're going to be hang tags, they need to be here before Knit City so that I can like put them on the bags while we're driving out to Knit City. Because like I said, I'm nothing if I'm not last minute. But hey, it's the perfect activity for driving and like listening to an audiobook and like running interference with the kids because they need snacks and water and iPads messed around with. Okay, just about there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more, and then we'll do the tags. So I think what I'll do is I'll run the tags and then I won't clip the threads quite yet. We already know that these need to be ironed, at least if some of them need to be ironed. So I can always trim threads at that point. It's probably the better decision anyway. Okay, there we go. Why does my phone keep going dark? Well, that's annoying. Okay, one moment here. Wonder if it's a setting in here. Yeah, weird. Okay, so it keeps dropping out in the actual like Streamlabs, not on the phone. So that's something I'm gonna have to look into later. Like I said, this is like totally new software. It's kind of thing of like I just need something that will plug and play. This software is far more powerful than what I probably need to use, which is good and bad. It means that there's a lot of things I can do with it. Also means that there's a lot of things I need to learn to do with it. Which it's not going to happen right now, and that's fine. But I do need it not to drop the collab cam, that's for sure. Because the main reason for having the software is so that I can do this dual cam. Why do you have Streamlabs? So I can like show you 2 different views of my desk. Why else would I have Streamlabs? Could also be the fact that I've also like been on stream for 3.5 hours. I don't know. They should be able to support that long though, because like I think they're one of the main people for Twitch. Don't know. Doesn't matter. We're almost done. I can have a break before I come back tonight. So if you're just joining now, the current schedule right now is I will be on stream tonight, hopefully between 9:30 and 10. Basically that is dependent on when my kiddos go to bed, and how motivated I am to make lunches. pretty motivated tonight to get my butt downstairs to get stuff finished. I'm not every night. Last night was hard. Yesterday was just hard to get downstairs to sew at all. So it doesn't surprise me that last night was hard too. And then I'll be on stream again tomorrow, probably around 12:30 to 1 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So right now, just as a reference, my time is 4:15. So whatever time your time is right now, just as a heads up, and that'll give you time for whenever I'll be on tomorrow. Like Pacific time, I'll be on between 12:30 and 1. No, sorry, that's my time. 11:30 and noon Pacific daylight time, which means that you're on daylight savings time. Like Eastern, I'll be on between like 2:30 and 3, etc. Whatever your time zone is. All right, 2 more seams, and then we're gonna do the tags. Come on, there we go. And then we're gonna do, oh, this one needs to be, whew, lint rolled. There's lots of Flynn love on this one. All right. I don't know why right in the seam, but oh well. Still needs to be lint rolled. I'll lint roll it before I put it through the steam press, because these are iron, because these need to be ironed still. Alright, so we're going to trim that down. And we've got enough time. I'm going to rough trim all of the threads so that they're at least separate, because it will be easier to actually sew the tags in if all the bags are separated from each other. But then I'll go in and I will trim the actual like long thread ends here afterwards. Just trying to get these done. Even without the threads actually trimmed, I'm going to count these as done. Just because the last couple steps are like the last couple steps. Granted, that means that they're not completely done, but I'm going to take the win today and say that they'll be done. And realistically, if I can't get the threads trimmed until Vancouver, I also can trim threads in the truck. It will not be the first time, nor will it be the last time, I'm sure. I'm sure there'll be lots of thread trimming in the truck in the future. I'm usually like, hey, that one almost lined up. That's a very grumpy cat, but like the face almost lined up with the ear there. Oops, sorry, wrong way. Yeah, I'm usually like staying in the hotel room on Friday right before like set up, like finishing the trimming of the threads and like the tagging of the bags, and then usually on Friday night the same thing. Go to the lecture, go back to the hotel room, finish like putting the paper tags and price tags on it, and then finally wrapping up everything at Knit, like in the actual P&E form, even on Saturday morning. I'm always a disaster right before a show, so oh well. I just realized I didn't put the seam. That's part of what happened, is I didn't put the stitch length up, so I don't know. That probably didn't help with the difficulty of sewing over some of those humps. But honestly, I think that went better than sometimes having the 4.5 in, so who knows. Alright, what are you caught on? Okay. So that's obviously going to need some thread trim down, but that bag is done. Success. Alright. Chuck it over there with the sheep. Actually, that's what I can do when my friend is over. She can pull elastics and I can do all the trim down and singe threads. So that's what I'll do. I don't have the tags, or else I could tag them at the same time, but that's not going to happen. So that's okay. Alright. So I've got about 20 minutes until I kind of need to wrap up. So basically whatever comes first. Either I finish the bags or 20 minutes is up. Okay, we're going to chain piece these as well. As best I can, at least. Yeah, this is what I'll do on Sunday. Friend can pull elastics and I can trim up any threads that I need to on anything that I've finished up to that point. There we go. I like it. And then if I finish before her, I can actually cut elastic, so that's the other thing. Okay, and then the last oddball one. Oddball being just not 100% cotton. The 100% cotton ones are super easy. It's just like slap it in. This one needs a special 80-20 tag. Oh man, this is like some of the last of the fabrics from like 2017, 2018. Can't say that I don't make my fabrics last, that's for sure, but like these hedgehogs have been super popular, and this is the last of that fabric. Maybe a triangle pouch somewhere, but like this is the last large bags of this, not the accessory stuff. So like I might get a wristlet somewhere or something, but there's not much more. Pretty sure that hedgehog fabric is available as a bookmark, but I don't have those photographed on the website yet either, so that'll also happen after Knit City at this point. Because like I said, I need like 4 more hours of working in the day. But instead, that time is put towards exercising, which is also super important. So, because if I don't do it, then I can't with the kids around. Not very easily. Ooh, the jiggle on that that phone has gotten worse. I'm sorry. Oh no. I'm gonna have to figure out a better setup for that then. Tonight it'll be ring light for sure. And apparently it is upset. Oh, it totally cut. Hello. Okay, you can still see my little picture-in-picture, but yeah, it's saying that the collab cam is completely gone. Okay, so I'm gonna just stretch my Mac picture so that you're just seeing me on the MacBook. Basically all I'm doing is I'm still just doing the tabs, tags, and we're almost done anyway, so interesting. I wonder what happened to the phone. See it, and it'll end up just popping up behind like me or something like that. Who knows? Alright. Fold it in. Ooh, this doesn't have much of a seam allowance available. Okay, one second. It's gonna take a little bit more work than I thought. There we go. Okay. Nope. Yep. There. Yes? Yes. Excellent. Sometimes it's just like I must have trimmed the seam allowance too small, or like it just didn't have as much fold over as I'm used to working with the knot bag. There we go. Okay. Get it under the presser foot as fast as I can. As I also like just totally take out my microphone. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more bags. I think we can do that. This one should be a bit easier. It feels like it's got more. And trim off as much of the seam allowance or something. Although I was very conscious of not trimming the seam allowance off across the opening, so I don't know what happened. This is actually easier to do this with these narrow ones. So I just started the stitch and I've got it under the presser foot. Basically I front and back stitched a little bit, and then I throw the tag in sometimes, just because the presser foot ends up acting like a third hand and holding everything in place, so that it makes my life a little just that eensy bit easier. My job, not my life, my job. The workload is helped by my machine. There we go. Now this is small enough opening that realistically, if you put the presser foot on it, there wouldn't be room to also shove the tag in there. Because the amount that I leave for openings is 100% not scientific in the least. There we go. Up, in. Guinea pig. These guys are super cute. I think actually, yeah, the stacked guys are like right on the handle, right at the top of the handle, which is adorable. Wonder if they're on the other side too. There's a high chance. Nope. That's actually my favorite part of this fabric though, are these stacked guinea pigs. Looks like the wind has died down outside, which is good. I'm just thinking about that because it's like, then it's nicer to go outside with the kids. Cochrane can get really windy, so it's just like, ugh. Yesterday was unpleasantly windy. A nice breeze is okay. A wind, not so much. Alright, 4 more. We can do this. 4 more and I've got 13 minutes left. Whichever comes first. It won't take me 4 minutes to sew tags, and please keep sewing. Say that and then something happens. Again, try not to jinx myself. Okay. 1 taggy tag. I don't know why I'm still so focused on my face. It's not like I can't actually like turn you down so you can see my sewing. There we go. Right, that's why I'm like out of practice with the whole jiggly cameras, because the MacBook is so like stable when I'm sewing that it doesn't jiggle, whereas the phone and the like holder is like boop, 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 because of course it is, because the table jitters and jungles and jangles. The only reason it doesn't move anywhere is because it's on carpet, basically. It's stuck there. One more to go, and then, 2 more to go, and then we're done. Alright, and then tonight I will be back on at 9:30 p.m. Well, between 9:30 and 10. It really depends on when the kids fall asleep, and again, packing lunches. So, but I'll be back on, and we will be doing interior lining cuts for large box bags that I'll bring for stock for Knit City. And then if we get that wrapped up, we'll come out and we will start doing selections for zippers for set bags. And then hopefully I get through those, or at least a good chunk of them by tomorrow. And then we will be working on Kato bags next week. And then the Kato I anticipate will take me 2 to 3 weeks to finish. And then I will work on getting triangle pouches sewn as well, because I am actually low on stock on the triangle pouches. I thought I was overstocked, and then I looked at how many I actually have, and it's no, I need to stock up on them. So I have them down on the whiteboard, but the double check of it from Baaad City confirmed that I needed to stock up on them, so that's why they're on the whiteboard. Alright, there is the knot bags. 99.8% done. So all the tops are finished. The only thing that's really left is the very finishing work of like trimming all these threads, and as I've just mentioned, my friend is coming over on Sunday to help, so I will do all of that trim down on Sunday on both the black and white thread knot bags. So yeah, so I am going to go so that I can have a break before my kids come home, or before I have to go get my kids. And then yeah, I'll be back on tonight. So if you ever have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the actual comment section below, or if you're joining me again, you can throw them in the live chat. I'm happy to chat away that way instead of just always doing stream of consciousness, because that's what I'm making up on the fly. Cha-Cha Maru is in the studio all the time in case the cats aren't, to quality control inspect. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a good few hours, and if you're able to come back and join me again, I really appreciate it. If you can't, I will chat with you all very soon, and I hope you have a fantastic day.